a sex joke?
Oh, I thought you were talking about actual like the stream. Sorry, I assumed we were being professional for a minute.
Bad
No.
assumption. Wrong assumption.
Why would you assume
That's
something
what
like
I
that?
I save it for the start of the stream.
Yeah. All right. Are we live? Good. Dirty stuff.
Farts!
dirty.
Dirty stuff. We are live on the Facebook and the YouTube. There we go.
Hello, internet.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Smoking Hot Nerds. We apologize for missing last week. It was just a wacky week for me in particular. So thanks, guys, for letting us skip a week. It was wacky.
Yeah, schedules don't always line up. That's how it is.
But we're back to normal. It is amazing we've done 20 episodes with, started with the three of us always having the time to do it, and now four of us. That's pretty impressive, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, unemployment helps, right?
Yeah, it's like I think the COVA is helping that part.
Yeah.
I know. One of you's got time. Yeah.
It's a question that I always get right now because, I'll be leaving the day job at the end of the month to do the, start doing all the video production and stuff full time. And it's interesting because the Rona has helped a lot of that, it's just because I think businesses that are doing well or who want to do well, the one thing that they're spending money on is advertising and especially video and stuff like that. So it's definitely helped. So I don't know. I'm super crazy optimistic about what's happening out of, coming out of this, but that's just me. So yeah.
Well, this will be that test of true business of where you try to figure out like the 70-20-10 process. Like, how do I survive on 70% of income, save 20, spend 10? Because it's like, this could be a hot minute,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You got to be ready for the cold minute.
Well,
How
yeah.
do I survive on maybe 60% of normal?
Right.
I think is probably, and that's probably high for a lot of people.
Well, yeah.
So
I mean,
on that note, I sent you
income-wise.
guys a bunch of really sensitive stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Should we get to the unboxing?
Well, like
I need to grab my box.
Let me preface it while you can go grab your box, Eric.
Oh, I'll grab my box.
I'll preface it. So, for the listening audience, yes, this is episode 20 of Smoking Hot Nerds. We've been doing, I think we have a Smoking Hot Nerds version 0 that may or may not be in some form of existence. So,
on SoundCloud,
this is a big deal.
don't listen.
Not a lot of listeners. I don't care, but it's a big deal for us. It's been a lot of fun for us. And during it was actually during the Ready Player One discussion, I had a small little plant, a little idea. And then I was like, you know what? We need to celebrate the 20 episodes, and it wouldn't be right to do anything else. So
yes,
I sent off mystery boxes to the fellas that we can open in. Matt knows he's got a sneaker peeker, so So we can either do Brian, who geographically is closest to me, but chronologically got
there last. Yeah.
So we could go the Brian route or Eric. You guys can flip a coin.
Yeah, we can go Brian, Eric, and then me. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Neeko, did you get yourself a gift?
Shit, man, I got. I'm good.
All the gifts. Yeah, you're good.
I mean, look at you got the big Indiana Jones right here.
Oh,
yeah, please do.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Get up in there.
Yeah, I did a little reorganizing. So.
Nice.
Whoa. Okay. We got a cool T-shirt.
Oh, that is cool.
Little retro
Thank you.
Retro Pac-Man with
What
the
else
legs.
here? I got another. Oh, it's another T-shirt. Don't fall down. Is this some kind of Spider-Man? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice. Love it. Dang, Neeko, you went all out, man.
Yeah. Oh damn! Oh!
It's a puffy vest.
Dude, that's so. That's so fucking.
So for the listening audience, it's Marty McFly Funko. Is that the Marty with the camera?
Yep.
With the video camera?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, he's got the puffy vest, the camcorder, and like I said, this is an inspiration from the Ready Player One. We were talking about what avatar would you choose, and so I did some stuff. And, yeah,
I love that.
Nick, I'm so happy I could kiss you.
it's all right.
Post Rona.
Mwah.
You can have a virtual makeout.
Thank you.
Tongue and all.
We got time.
I got nothing
These
else.
shirts are cool too. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Senior prop, please.
All right.
Fire it up.
I am feeling a shirt. Oh, a Rick and Morty.
Nice. That's great.
Oh yeah. Very psychedelic.
The Morty
Is that
skateboard.
Sparkles? Oh no, I'm just seeing light through the shirt. Nice. Yes. Oh, yeah. It's kind of what's that episode where Morty learns that he can become a car if he thinks about it?
Yeah. I love it.
I love that show.
And you were a tricky one because I can't find anything to go with the bolo tie, but
Right.
Oh, right. Oh no, that's okay.
Is that Alien?
Nice. A yin and yang. Alien vs Predator.
Alien Yin and Yang t-shirt.
Sweet.
That's cool.
And I feel a square. Ah!
Yes.
He's my Huckleberry. That's perfect.
The Doc
Oh,
Holliday
that's
Funko.
wonderful.
and I
Love that.
I
I'm
especially
even feeling
love
like
the
under the weather right now, so it's perfect.
Oh, there you
little in the bottom right corner is a little fun part. It's exclusively at Target.
Of course, nicely.
At which the one I work at, we've never seen a Funko.
Yeah.
So
Oh wow.
I will.
I
Yeah.
like that, Eric. You didn't even have to Funko-ize yourself for our banner. You could have just used the Doc Holliday one.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Just get some red around my eyes.
Well, the also some backstory there, Brian. You probably don't know. When we were seniors in high school, we did the Oklahoma play, and I was Curly, and Neeko was in the pit orchestra. And since it was sort of a western, Eric was, one of the townsfolk or whatever. But instead of just doing a normal townsfolk, he straight up went 100% Tombstone
Yeah.
Doc Holliday.
That's
Movie.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
It was so good.
It like pale
Did you, like-
face and everything.
So, like
everyone's-
tuberculosis and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but too, I didn't know makeup or anything. So two really funny parts of that were I didn't have any facial hair then, and I needed this and this, and so. Well, I've learned now spirit gum doesn't do crap. My skin just pushes it out.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have worked anyways.
Yeah.
But I resorted to super glue and just went, which is like fine to do a couple times. But
Yeah.
we did school tours
Uh-huh.
and we did multiple performances. So I super glued my face many times.
Yes.
He's,
Amazing.
I've done it. by Star
He's
Wars
holding the
things.
cup, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes, he is.
Which
I
was
am.
also like a key part of your costume is that you had the little cup
Yeah,
and
my
the
little
a little
Funko.
saunter. It was
I
great.
have the cup to
He's
spin.
got a pocket watch. Yeah, I mean, this is like I could be wearing an ascot just as easily. It's,
Yeah.
it's
That's
pretty.
beautiful. That's
I
good.
don't have a picture of my Funko, but it's this is a wonderful.
Wait. You opened it? Isn't that like against the rules?
Oh no, that's allowed.
Open. I
Like
love
you're
it.
fired, Eric.
I'm not gonna tell you how to enjoy your fun.
His hair is even like that kind of sweaty mess.
He's disheveled.
Yeah.
He's like straight up.
This
it's
is
end of
the
night,
this is the
drunk.
Ringo spinning cup sort of contest.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? All right.
Senor
Thanks,
Neeko.
you, Nico.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well done.
Also, t-shirt. It's a Wonder Woman t-shirt because
Oh,
I'm
Gal
a wonderful
Gadot.
woman. Yeah.
Future
Beautiful.
ex-wife.
Love it.
Wonderful woman. I'm blanking on her name, but she's a wonderful woman.
And we got nice. Is that the Winter Soldier building a Captain America snowman?
Sure is.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Oh,
Well,
that's
that one
funny.
I thought you would
Way to
appreciate 'cause
whitewash
you
the
did,
new Captain America.
Right.
did Captain America for
Ooh.
Comic-Con, didn't you?
Oh, I did. Yeah, a couple of years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, the only time I've ever actually dressed up for a Comic-Con. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
And
You cosplayed?
well, kind of. It was just a costume. Oh. Oh wow. It's the looks like getting his medal Han Solo.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, I love it.
New
Limited
Hope Han
age
Solo.
edition.
2016 Galactic Convention exclusive. Wow. I love it.
Oh.
Thank you, Neeko.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
gonna open mine too, because he's already kind of open. Ooh, that's
Nick,
a good
I
one.
need to.
Because you opened it the other day.
I do need to ask a question. Can everyone look at the hands of their Funkos?
Yeah.
Is anyone missing
Yeah.
a hand?
No?
Okay,
you
good.
have an extra hand?
Well,
floating
so
around?
so I was rearranging some stuff up here, and I moved my chair, and I saw this tiny little piece of plastic on the ground. I was like, "What in the world is that?" And I picked it up, and it was like a hand cut off right at the wrist, like that. And I'm like, "What in the world could this be?" He's like, "Oh, did I send a Funko?"
Funko with no
That's
hand?
missing a hand. Like,
That's amazing.
and then of course I'm trying to look at my collection, and it's like that's gonna take me a
Yeah.
year.
Searching for the missing hand.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was either because some of those came from like toy collectors and like toy shops.
Yeah.
So whether or not when they boxed it, one of theirs is missing a hand. So I honestly, when I looked at them, I spot checked them and I didn't see anything. But then as soon as it's like what the thing is, as soon as you see something, every confidence just drains from your body. You're like, oh God,
Yeah.
one of them doesn't have a hand.
Put my guy here.
Just it's cool hand Luke.
That's right.
Very cold, stiff hand Luke.
Nick, I need to go to the Funko shop that's like a block away from my house and just like get you on FaceTime or something.
Yeah. All right.
And like one so I can show it to you and then
Oh,
tell me what to
yeah.
get.
We should do a special
Segment?
episode of you going live, and we'll all
Little ban
watch.
on the street.
Mhm.
Brian buys Funkos, episode 21.
Great. That's all I need is another freaking addiction.
Their expensive hobby.
I know. Looking at these guys, looking at him, I'm like, ooh, I get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It already decided
It's
I'm gonna go buy
worrisome because
more.
I'm already going. Oh God,
Mhm.
just like getting some to match what's
Well, then
happening behind.
you look at the
Yeah.
back of the box and you're like, oh wait, there's 5 in this set. Oh,
Mhm.
I can do
Yeah, I
that.
know.
That's easy.
Oh wait, I need Morgan or how
Oh.
many Bill Paxton Funkos are there?
When
Oh,
we
you
were
can get-
talking about it.
Doc with the crazy helmet. Okay.
Just
Oh, I was looking at
so
my
many
dog.
versions. Oh yeah, nice.
Yep.
I love it. Yeah, when we were talking about it, Neeko, because we were talking about it a little bit, and I had mentioned Gustav H from Brian's favorite
Grand
movie,
Budapest.
Grand Budapest Hotel, and I was like, that would be an amazing Funko. Well, it does exist, and it comes in like a 2-set with the kid Zero,
Yep.
and yeah, it's on eBay. There's like 3 of them on eBay, and they're like $80. And so I'm just like, this is a dangerous path to go down.
Yeah,
like all the things that, yeah. So it's like no conceivable world in which I would need Funkos, but I kind of need that Funko now, knowing that it's $80 for some reason. I'm just like, yeah, I need it now.
I was blown away when I searched for it. I was actually blown away. I got a search result
Yeah, right.
that they made Funkos for Grand Budapest. I mean, it's like at this point, their licensing department has to be
Mhm.
sanity.
Yeah, for sure.
You can find a Funko for almost any property.
Yeah,
Right.
It's very rare that you don't.
it's crazy.
Well, what are you
Well,
telling me?
There's certain properties I bet they haven't covered yet, or
Well,
have they?
Yeah, they haven't
Time
caught
to
the,
search.
Oh,
although they do.
Well, like I just remember when you showed us your Ready Player One Funkos, and you said you had some from the book, not the movie. I was like, whoa, that's kind of deep.
Yeah.
The deep
Yeah,
cut.
all over. Well, thank you, Neeko. This is awesome, man.
yeah, no,
Yeah, thank you.
Happy 20th.
20th episode.
20 sods.
Someone-
When did I join it? Like 10 or 11?
What you got going on there?
Somewhere in there, yeah. What's an officially licensed Wonder Woman 1984 shirt? How about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The 84. I love it.
we're all eagerly waiting for that to come out in 4 years.
Yeah. Right. In 2084.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wonder Old Maid.
Yeah. 100 year anniversary. So this week we watched a movie that I kind of regret even throwing this idea out now for
Yeah.
a lot
I
of
was
reasons.
surprised by both of you going, yeah, let's do it. I was like, Perth?
Well,
Yeah.
it's a good movie
Who's Egg?
to walk on because we definitely were buddy with the last couples that came out. So
Yeah.
it's always good to have one to kind of step on a little bit, just to ensure that we're not just kind of smelling our own farts a little bit.
True. But we watched the 1991. I don't even know what we would call it. I guess just movie. Nothing But Trouble. Written and directed by Dan Aykroyd, starring Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, inexplicably featuring Tupac Shakur and Digital Underground.
John Candy.
Yeah, John Candy. Who else was in there?
There's a Baldwin in there.
There was a Baldwin in there. I think
There was a
it was Billy or Daniel, one of the two.
Yes.
We had a little bit of Bill Murray's brother, Brian Doyle Murray, is in it
Yeah.
for a hot second.
Yes.
He plays one of the fat guys in the. He plays one of the fat guys in the garbage
suit,
area.
The junkyard.
Yeah, but then he's also at the end.
He's a detective.
Yeah,
or
it's one of the
something.
detectives at the end as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so it was way worse than I remember it.
Well, let's do this. Let's for the listening audience, which on YouTube is 2 people, it's you and me.
Hey guys.
So the plot or the general gist of this movie is you got to remember in the 90s, this is when Wall Street was super hip and hot, and anybody who touched finance in New York City was
Golden Boy.
super cool, ultra rich, blah 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 blah.
Just think American
And
Psycho,
all the best
for real.
Funkos.
Yes, exactly. So the movie takes place where he is very full of himself, high on himself, and he runs into a new tenant of the building who is played by Demi Moore, who is I think is a contract lawyer for a land grabber in northern New York, upstate New York. And there's a deal that falls through, and so they run into each other, and somehow she convinces him to drive her up to this place. And it's never really said of whether he's interested in the financial part of it, of maybe getting some insider tips, because he has his own little newsletter that he writes. So he and a couple of his rich friends that he bumps into take this road trip up to upstate New York to try to get in and prevent this deal or whatever. That's not the movie. The movie is when they decide that, like, hey, you know what? We're on vacation. Let's take a back road. And in doing so, they come through some little coal fire burnout podunk town. And of course, they break the law because they're from New York. So they break the law. The local constable pulls them over, takes him to the local court, the justice of the peace, and then insanity. It's just bonkers town from there on out. It's basically like every Deliverance-esque like rural justice movie you could think of,
right?
But with like the nutty mind of Dan Aykroyd and Peter Aykroyd on top of it, just going crazy town.
I think comedy Deliverance is a good way to describe this movie.
Yes, yeah.
It's if Deliverance was a comedy,
and a little bit of Mary Jane.
yeah.
There's definitely an influence on this
movies
film.
of the times are fascinating. So think about 1991. At that point in time, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, Martin Short, Steve Martin, those guys are gods in the movie making world. All of their movies are getting made no matter what. And so I think this was just this was not any different. It was a movie that he wrote, he pitched, and he could do no wrong at that point. I don't know what kind of response it got in 91. You know, we were like 11, so who knows?
I think it was enough that it ended up on, I think, like HBO. And
well, I had to, because that's how I saw it when I was a kid.
Exactly. So it did well enough. And I think it was, again, these guys had so much money and so much clout that I don't even know if they needed to ask for approval. They just kind of said, we're doing this thing. It's already done. Would you like to buy it from us?
Yeah, we need 20 million. Can we do this? And that was it.
Yeah, because the concepts are like the plot isn't bad, but then you start to break it down, and it's like, oh, this is nutso. This is insanity. What's happening here?
Yeah.
5 out of 5.
Yeah. Big winner.
It's gonna take. Well, this year they're gonna have to go back in time to find movies to give Oscars to. So this might be back on.
Yeah, let's go back and right that wrong.
Yeah.
Back on the menu, boys.
I mean, even just there's a scene in the movie where, so at the beginning of the film, Demi Moore's character literally just sort of bumps into Chevy Chase's character. She's all stressed out because I think she's going through a breakup with her boyfriend.
Who is
that guy.
trying to buy this
guy who's
man.
buying it.
Right,
So-
exactly. And so she's upset. Chevy Chase says, "Hey, come to this party that I'm throwing in my, my apartment. This big party." And that's how
in the penthouse.
in the penthouse,
I'm in the penthouse.
right? Where the bartender, extra, completely mugs the camera in the first 4 minutes of the movie, and it just made me so happy. I
Big time.
love that kind of stuff so much. Like I love mugging, and I love really bad under 5 actors and things like that. So total deviation. We'll get back. I just got myself caught up on Perry Mason, and there's a scene where Perry Mason goes to this bar with his pilot friend, and he's at the bar and he's trying to get information from the bartender. And they're trying to make it look like, a pre-prohibition or during prohibition type of cocktail bar. And so the bartender has the bottle, or he's got the stirrer, and he goes to pours the drinks. And he pours the drinks so ridiculously not at all how you would ever pour anything. Not even just for a bartender. It's 2 seconds. And then he grabs a spoon to stir it.
Put it in his mouth first and go,
he spit it in. And then he just jiggles the spoon around and then starts pouring the drink. And I was like, how... At that level of a production, how are you not able to find an actor who's also a bartender?
Right.
That seems like
full of them.
Yeah, that
Maybe
seems like the
harder.
shoe-in. Right.
to find one that isn't.
Right, exactly. But somehow they chose the one guy who had no idea how to make a cocktail for that
Or
movie.
nobody stopped him.
Yeah.
They're just okay, just one note, small little note.
For sure. Just
You
stir it.
stir.
I mean, I was just all I could think of was our friend Patrick thinking about Patty, because he's a killer bartender and he's a really good actor, and I was like, well, you guys should have just hired him. Literally any
right.
person who's a bartender in LA also is probably an actor and can deliver those 3 lines that you had for him. But anyways, I digress. So the bartender mugs the camera. But there's a scene in which, so this is the next morning, they're going to drive out to the country to check out this land, and Demi Moore comes out of the elevator doors, and it's just that ridiculous slow motion 80s movie thing where she's kind of in a short skirt and kind of prances in as these close-ups of her legs and things like that. And
Halter top,
yeah,
one piece kind of romper thing.
it's
or something.
crazy. It's the kind of thing you don't see in movies anymore. You see them in probably softcore stuff, late night Netflix type stuff, but not in movies
Silk
anymore.
stockings.
Yeah.
You get that saxophone blare right across
Yeah,
the top.
exactly. There's a lot of that in this movie where you're like, wow, I forgot how far we've come.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well,
anyways.
and two,
Movie had
it's a great
star
little
power back in the day.
Oh yeah.
right.
Oh yeah.
That little moment, the lead up to that is Chevy Chase has had the party the night before. These Brazilian people, brother and sister team that are annoying, and they kind of hear he's going to go on this road trip, so they just invite themselves.
Mhm.
But anyways, this is the next morning. He's hungover. He goes down to his driver. He's like, just tell her whatever. Here's my keys. She can go drive. I'm not doing this. And then the doors open, and there she is. And he goes, "Hey,
Never mind.
I'll take those keys back."
Yeah, give me the keys.
Yeah. I'm good now.
Yeah,
But
I'm
it's
fine.
just-
Hope you feel better. Oh, what are you talking about? I feel great. Yeah.
Even just the fly-in at the very top of the movie, where it's sort of the helicopter shot overlooking New York, and maybe it was just. This movie would have been watched on a big screen, so I'm just watching it, and I wanted to throw up because it was so shaky,
Glitchy.
yeah, glitchy and shaky.
Oh.
Or it looked like the guy at the camera was just kept going like this, to the side. It was weird. But
It
things
was
like
the
that.
perfect way to open this movie, going oh, it's bad stock footage.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, this is what we're in. This is what's in store.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is another movie too. If I show you the first 5 minutes, if you're even vaguely familiar with it, you'd be like, I have no idea what movie I'm about to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's the whole. As soon as they get into, what's it called, Scrantonville? I can't remember. It's
Something like
a
that.
completely different movie. The whole first part about him being a financial journalist, basically, and all that stuff just gets chucked out the window as soon as they get in that little town. Which is funny because that's one of my main issues with the movie. Is John Candy is so good, and he plays the 2 parts, but his character motivation of just you leave.
Yeah.
You hate your job.
Or just go.
Just leave, man. You're not that far from a major interstate. just leave.
Especially
Just
when
go.
when you see him packing when he finally decides to leave, and there's a picture that he puts in, or you see of him as a Marine, and you're like, wait, he left.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
right.
he
He
came
left.
Came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the people who are ready for the spoilers, so they get pulled over. They run through a red light. The constable John Candy pursues them, and then it turns into some weird like Smoking the Bandit scene where the Brazilian couple in the back starts egging on Chevy Chase. That he's like, "Oh, this is a BMW. Show me how big and super cocky this car is." So he steps on it. He's going like 85 or something. And then they're like, "Oh, he's just a small town yokel. He'll never be able to catch you." And then, of course, it cuts to like the Fast and the Furious. John Candy flips on the nitro booster. Yeah. Just like blazing up on him. And then has like a Goonies style trap where he flips a switch and the road closes. So they have to detour through the coal mine roads. And then his deputy is sitting on the hood of her car with an AK, like an M16 pointed at him.
Yeah.
And they just stop, and John Candy just walks up, and is like, "License and registration," just like so calm.
And he is good. He's like really.
Yeah.
It's some legit acting in the movie for him.
Yeah,
that
he's
and
got
playing his sister.
His part is so great, but it's just so silly because then even when he's like, "I'm gonna need you to follow me," which is not a thing that happens, and then they go on like a 20-mile road trip, which is like at the beginning when they showed like the really bad GPS unit of where they were going. It wasn't that far.
Right.
Like, again, he didn't drive out to the middle of a desert. It's not in the West. It's set in New York State. So it's like they go on this huge long road trip to get to the court, which is inside like a scrapyard for some reason, with like the gates of hell to get in.
That he also controlled from his car.
Also controlled from his car. Right. And then so they get in there, they get off to the side where the judge is. And even then, John Candy is like, just a moving violation, no big deal. And it makes you wonder, like, if you know what's about to happen, just don't pull him over or just let him go, man. Like no one's watching you.
Yeah,
you're the only law here. Just let it happen.
Right. Because he knows that's what's funny is that John Candy's character has this sort of change of heart. This little bit of humanity that comes out in him.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about that is that he already knows that the judge, who is his grandfather? Relative of some sort.
Old relative.
He just kills people for fun. So he already knows this. So it's not he's like, surprising.
It's not that he's like fed up, but mildly. Where when is it the Baldwin, that group, gets pulled over later, and then they just get axed right away, or they get sent on a conveyor belt, and the deputy, she's like, "Ooh, I want to watch," and Candy's just like, "All right, have fun, I'm out of here." So I don't feel like watching people get turned into bones and then chucked at a target
through the bone stripper.
His motivation was so weird. It's like, yeah, you're right, he's over it and sick of it. It's like for just a speeding ticket, but it's like also bound by his duty. That's like the whole reason he stays. It's like, ugh.
Maybe that's why the Marine was thrown in. Like, see, he's a I will do my orders, sir.
Yeah. It was interesting.
I think the roller coaster, not that I didn't enjoy seeing the pretentious Baldwin and company die. I'm like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was like, I hadn't caught on how kind of demented the movie was yet until like that. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. Off the rails real fast because you're kind of like, okay, where's this movie going sort of thing. And then you see it.
Suddenly, like, left turn.
Yeah.
Well, this had to be a movie where obviously Dan Aykroyd and his brother had the idea of like the courthouse. Like that's where that's the idea because that's where all the effort is.
Yeah.
So then they're thinking, how the hell do we get them here? Like we can't just open the movie with them being pulled over. So what?
No, they could have though.
Well, they should have.
Yeah, probably.
But it's all the effort is in the courthouse. That's where all the jokes are at. That's where all like the bonkersness and even like little Bobo and whatever, the super huge man children. And it's like because for the audience, it starts out and like Dan Aykroyd plays a judge who makes reference to being in like World War I or something. Mm-hmm. So he's an ancient justice of the peace type of thing that's been sitting on this court and ruling. And the crux is that their town, while he was away in World War I, sold the rights to some banker. And that's why they hate bankers, because he sold them for basically toilet paper, as the joke goes. So that now as bankers come through his town, there's just zero leniency for it. Like all bankers must die. And there's even a part
where
you
look kind of like a banker, then you're a banker and you have to die.
Yeah. Right. So he's got this heavy makeup, which is actually really good.
It's really good
makeup. Yeah, really
the teeth
good makeup
are great.
Design. And then
nose. Yeah.
And then there's the penis nose when they're eating bratwurst around the dinner table. So there's little stuff like that. And you're like, okay, this is kind of weird. And then they show the two little fat twins who are probably in their 40s, I guess. But it's just like melted bubblegum super babies that are also mechanics with diapers. And it's like, so you're like, okay, believable, off the cliff. Right. Like, what the world is happening?
Yeah.
You brought up the dinner scene. You know what my favorite part about the dinner scene is?
Eating the sausage.
The condiment train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I get this in my life?
Yeah. That's true.
And then the one
amazing.
Does it just like shoots a pea?
It flips a pickle at him.
Yeah.
It flicks, okay. That was the one time I went.
You know what?
Right.
The first time I
did this.
Pretty much.
Well, Natalie watched it with me, and Natalie goes, "Whoever suggested this movie should be fired." And
was it me?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, can't fire me. I have the Skype codes.
I think I brought it up. Did I bring who?
I think I brought it up because of the sausage moment.
It came up in reference of something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we came up with the title of the movie, and then it was like, we should watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went, okay.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in myself, so my apologies.
Now, when you talk about having something and then needing to like put something else in your TV to like clean it out,
right.
This is that movie. This is the movie where you're like, your TV literally needs to have something else going on.
Yep.
I had to watch Vampire's Kiss as a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I think the first time I laughed, it wasn't actually a joke, but the Brazilianaire dude that went with him was Nacho Butt from Angels in the Outfield.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That guy is in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, the late 80s, early 90s, yeah.
He's kind of like he's kind of like what's his name from who played Gimli in Lord of the Rings? Jonathan Rhys Meyers, where it's like, you know, they're like one of the richest actors in Hollywood because they don't say no to anything. So there's in everything in the 80s and 90s and just racked it up. Yeah. It's like that. You watch a lot of movies, you're like, oh my God, he's in this too? Crazy.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. But it's the biggest surprise, which I didn't remember. I remembered that there was a moment where at some point in time, like a band shows up. And
I had forgotten that. That is
totally, yeah. I knew that something was like that, and this group shows up and sort of like, you know, it's like a group of like 4 or 5 African American guys and a bunch of like kind of party girls, and I'm looking at it going, why is that dude so familiar? Like looking at this young like kid, I'm like, who is that guy? And I was like, it's freaking Tupac.
Yeah, I wrote a note. It says, Tupac? Question mark.
Because it's Digital Underground, which is I think one of his first bands, if not his first, and I mean a couple of other really notable musicians and stuff in that, you know, who became pretty famous later. But yeah, no one mentions Nothing But Trouble in conversation around Tupac. You know, it's like never mentioned.
That was kind of buried.
I bet Larry King, if he was like interviewing someone to talk about Tupac, he would be like, so I think we all remember from that movie, Dan Aykroyd. You know what? Why are you bringing that up? Oh, okay.
Did he ever talk about his experience in that movie? No one talked about it. Nope. Everyone stopped talking.
Well, the funniest thing about the rap performance was suddenly Dan Aykroyd like gets up and plays the organ along with them.
Yeah. He does his Blues Brothers thing and plays the organ. Yeah. And the girls were very into it, and the guy, everyone was dancing, and then then when he makes his judgment on them, because I think were they speeding or something like that, and he decides, you can go. I thought it was great because it's sort of like a nice like social justice moment from the early 90s. You know, it's like he let everybody go. He killed all the privileged white people, which was good, but he let the hip hop people go, which is kind of nice. It was like, great, Dan Aykroyd ahead of his time. You know, fantastic. But it was good.
Yeah, one thing that made me think, since we're talking about the music act, is like this was essentially like a really terrible episode of Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like long,
on and on.
awkward. Mm-hmm. And then there's this random musical act that's like very of its time and very hip in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Which isn't their popular song, right? It's like their B track. It's like the fifth track on the album. Like, we got to make this one popular too.
Yeah. Well, it had to be one that was whitewashed enough that it would appeal to the people who would actually come and watch this movie. So it was sort of like this weird 50-50 where you knew that they were featuring an up-and-coming band. So it was going to try to serve, you know, more than one purpose in the film, but just so weirdly, just so awkwardly placed. The 80s and 90s were so weird for movies like this. Because, like, think about, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when Vanilla Ice has his little cameo, just things like that. You're like, what is going on?
It's like this weird cross branding. Mm-hmm. I mean, you almost nailed it. It's like SNL, where it's like, all right, who's got an album coming out this month? Digital Underground. Like, do you like them? I don't know. They paid a lot of money, so
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Like they'll be here. It'll be some quirky little thing we can do with Dan Aykroyd, so you can play the organ, and then we'll let him go, and yay! And then Tupac is in it.
Well, 291, so that's like same year as Terminator 2 with the Guns N' Roses song, and they do the music video, and there's that cross-pollination. So there's definitely a thing of that literal year.
Yeah, it's still a thing. Sure. It's still a thing with the use of songs in music videos that we just don't see as much anymore because it's more like, you know, on Vivo and YouTube and stuff like that. So it still exists. But you
didn't know when like U2 showed up in the middle of Inception, and
I didn't see that part.
When the B-52s were in Dark Knight, you didn't catch that?
That was my favorite part.
They had to go into Bono's dream.
Yeah.
Joker's gotta have some fun tonight. Yeah, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, it had to be a string that came through in the industry of, how do we get like an additional $100,000 for this film? Mm-hmm. It's like you get a musical act to come in and cross promote or something. It's just like putting Pepsi in and featuring it. It's advertising. It's
also trying to sell albums. So when you try to sell soundtracks, because even like that's Beauty and the Beast.
The best part about it, though, it's like nobody is going, man, I really wish I could get my hands on that Nothing But Trouble soundtrack.
I want the score from Nothing But Trouble.
Let's see if it exists, Digital
actually.
I just, but the drive to get it can't exist.
You can just tell they had really high hopes for this movie when it came out, when they were making it.
Yeah,
like, high hopes. Ooh.
There was a lot. I mean, it was 91, man. There's a pretty high likelihood that it was just fueled by cocaine or something along those lines. Because it
couldn't have cost that much. It really couldn't have cost that much.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing But Trouble soundtrack.
That's amazing.
I mean, it's got all kinds of good stuff. Track 6, Bone Stripper.
That's worth it because that's hilarious.
Can
we license that to be our new theme song?
But then, but look at the Digital Underground's cover for that's same song, the song that they played in there. That's the single. I mean, artwork in that era was just rough, man. The bubbly sort of look, but yeah. You know, you can buy it on Amazon if you want.
How much is it?
$1.49.
Oh no, the album.
The album. Yeah. It's $9.49. Yeah. Or it's free on the app if you're a subscriber to Apple Music. So.
Oh my!
There you go.
Bone Stripper is ready. It's a bone saw. That's what I'm thinking of.
Well, but it's just crazy that kind of stuff. So I've been invigorated my interest in sports like trading cards and stuff like that the last couple weeks. Yeah, I know. So, as you know, I follow like
an image.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you selling old ones or buying?
No, I'm buying. Well, I'm buying some old ones as well. So the world has exploded again. We're all back in it. Why are you looking at me like that, Neeko? You've got a million toys behind you. So shush.
No, I'm thinking about.
What are you drinking out of? Is that a pitcher? You just.
It's the cup he had when he had his.
This is my old fraternity mug.
Oh, it looks like one you get when you're in the hospital.
Right? Yeah. It does glow in the dark. Does that help?
Or like a mug you buy at a bar where you buy like a mug for $10 and you fill it up with beer all night. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Exactly what it is.
What was your frat? OBGYN?
Ooh.
I love their logo though. But anyways,
no, I've got like 2 big books of baseball cards.
Yeah.
That my parents were like, this is not taking up any more room in our storage. Get this out of here. So I have it now.
But so
because I was super into it when I was a kid. I remember when the Rockies opened in Denver. I was like part of that group. I bought 2 of the inaugural season sealed cases of Rockies, 1 to open, 1 to keep.
Oh, so, nice.
So I have one that's open, and I like opened it, and it's not like you don't play with trading cards. You just like, and put them away.
Yeah, I don't.
Right. So I mean, I've got like
no one does
of them just like stuffed in, and then my 1 year for I jumped on your story. Sorry, my dad.
Please.
Same thing. His parents were like, get this out of our attic. So for his birthday once, I went and I got one of those like the diamond trading card books that had value in them, and I took all his cards and I logged them all, and then I put together like a price sheet or whatever. And this was somewhere in the 90s, and he gave that to me. I haven't looked at it other than like I remember at the time, let's call it like 94. I think there was like $800 for the card.
Look at it now.
Well, see, that's the kicker.
Our era, though, they're not worth anything anymore. Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it. Like there were a lot of cards that were super hot when we were kids, and they're just not worth anything because of the mass production of them. There was sort of a gold rush of them for a little while because you had to buy the packs and you had to open them, and it was just like, and the demand was so high, the supply was low at the time. But once the demand decreased, there was way too much on the market, so it's not really worth anything anymore. The thing about the cards now is that they're actually being issued in a whatever it is out of 100 cards, so there's a few, like I picked up a couple. So the reason I started this story, so vintage wrestling cards. This is a 1984 Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake. Is that diamond rated?
Yeah, so it's PSA. So there's a few. Okay. There's PSA. There's PGI. There's Beckett has their own rating system. So basically, you submit your cards, they rate them, and then it instantly takes the value to a certain level because it's been rated, it's graded, and so it'll never change. You know what I mean? So sealed, yeah, exactly. And so the wrestling cards are just bonkers right now. And so I got this guy too, some like a really old school classic, but this is PSA 10. So this is actually like the complete mint condition. So and these cards, like when you're talking about like a 1983 card, not a lot of them exist. Like the Ric Flair PSA 10, which is the highest rated one, there's only I think 6 in the world that exist that we know of that have been rated, PSA 10. So they're like $14,000 or something like that. It's crazy. But just investing in like a few guys.
Woo!
Yeah, woo! But yeah, just a few like rookie cards. Like this guy's kind of probably one of might be like, what do you call him? MVP of the league and something like that. Well, he's actually a Dodger now. And one of our rookies on the Broncos, just guys like that. So I've been getting back into it, but that's the unfortunate thing is all the cards that I've got that I have been sitting on and are in like mint condition are probably not worth much. I mean, maybe like, Barry Sanders rookie card. I've got like a Jose Canseco rookie card. It's probably not in great shape, but just things like that are going to be worth something. Yeah. But generally most of what we have isn't. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw a few bucks into like, the game a little bit, but the wrestling ones are super fun. Oh, because the reason was, so as I was doing research, I forgot how crazy the wrestlers in the 80s dressed. Like we like Macho Man, Randy Savage. Like that.
Wonderful.
The glasses, the tassels, just all the things. We thought it was so cool. And then you look at it and you go, where did you find a yellow tassel jacket?
It's just
they had people making them.
He had Elizabeth make it for him.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Lovely Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I mean, now I watch it, and they all just look boring as hell. They all look the same. There's some guys that kind of have gimmicks, but I'm just like, give me ridiculous, bright, over-the-top crap. That's what was fun about it.
Yeah.
Like, I loved Ultimate Warrior. I thought he was cool and, like, primal. And, of course, you look at him, he's just this neon, roided-out weirdo.
Yeah. Like Sting, the colorful Sting, before he became the kind of scary black
Punisher
face
Sting.
one. Yeah, it was we had like the blonde spiky hair and then the neon face paint and stuff. Oh, so crazy.
Well, because there was like WCW and there's WWF, right? And they were like, Sting it was almost like DC and Marvel, right? Like Sting was the Ultimate Warrior of WCW.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they merged.
at some point, they smashed together, and then they lost the lawsuit with the World Wildlife Foundation, which is hilarious. So they had to be World Wrestling Entertainment.
Forever ongoing, and then finally got resolved around 2000, somewhere in there.
It was a bit ago, but they were definitely just like, you're not winning this. Like, you're not going to get this.
It seems like the world's big enough for 2 WWFs. You know?
Well, and the thing is that
Completely
I don't think
different.
anybody would ever. I mean, I would argue on the side of the wrestlers that you're not going to. There's no brand confusion here.
No, not
I mean,
at all.
It's not like some
I
guy
meant
was like,
to donate to pandas, but instead I donated to Ric Flair's cocaine habit.
Yeah, if the WWFs,
I did the opposite. I was trying to give cocaine money to Ric Flair.
I saved the
and
whales,
then
damn it.
Freaking panda.
yeah, and it's not even like they had a wrestler dress up as a panda.
right. Well, yeah, the WWF didn't have an actual snake as their logo. It wasn't like we have Jake the Snake. But, it's like where does Jake the Snake live? How old is he? Well, he's a 10-year-old anaconda. And it's like, there was no confusion there. It was
He's
just,
not very friendly.
Yeah, we knew what was what.
That's probably what WWF, World Wildlife Foundation, should have done, is they should have, named their animals similar to wrestlers and just tried to ride off the popularity of WWF.
That had to have been a
the
confusion.
Undertaker.
At some point in time, that had to be in the litigation, I bet, where they were just like, people might get confused. We have an elephant named Andre, okay? People are going to get confused about that, or something along those lines.
We need to write. This would be we should make this a podcast, like a radio drama of the court hearing.
That'd be amazing. Heart to heart.
Month-long series.
Yeah, be great.
Yeah, the Siamese twin cats. Owen and what the hell was the other?
Brett. Was it Brett? Yeah.
Yes, Brett's the one that's alive.
Brett the Hitman.
Owen, not so much.
Did he fall off of a scaffolding or a catwalk or something?
He fell out of the rafters in a WW, like a Royal Rumble or something like that.
Yeah,
he was supposed to come down in a harness, and either he misclipped it or they didn't set the brake, and he just straight down.
Yikes.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
No bueno.
It's a brutal sport. Did you guys watch the Andre the Giant documentary? It's on
not yet.
HBO.
Oh no, not this
It's great.
one. I've seen one in the past.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, it's the one thing where people talk about wrestling. They're like, it's fake. It's like, yeah, but physics isn't. And the size of these guys isn't. And look, they're doing backflips off. And look at this stuff. And they're landing on each other. And they're doing this over and over again.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Of course, they're all on pills. They're all just, out of their minds because of the pain, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And the business of it is because John Oliver did a thing on last week tonight about the business of WWE and how it's basically like it's terrible, but you can't get mad at the business because Vince McMahon basically said, you're all independent contractors. Right. You work for me.
You're like an Uber driver.
Yeah. And if you get hurt, that's on you, man. Like, quit. Like, we're not contracted. You've got a limited gig term, and I will decide if you win or lose. I will decide if you're big or small. And this is my show, and you are contracted to my show. And at any given moment, I don't want you, or no, you don't get to be the champion, or you got hurt. That sucks, man. You got to take some time off.
Mm-hmm.
And like no paid vacations, like nothing. It's like I said, you can get disgusted by the business, but you can't get mad at the business because it's super smart. But it's also like it's really terrible at the same time. Yeah. It's like the definition of bad business but he's a blah 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 billionaire. Who cares? He doesn't care. Like, sue me, okay. Like,
well, but people are clamoring to get in there, and that's the thing.
Fine,
you hear a lot about those conversations about safety of the NFL and things along those lines. It's like, the struggles that people who tend to become professional athletes have in their youth, notwithstanding, no one's forcing you to become a professional athlete. Right. And that was the stance that he took super early. No one's forcing you to be in the WWE. If you want to become a champion, you want to get all this money, then these are the risks that you have to take. And whether that's good or bad is not the point. The point was that that's how it was set up, but that's how he also grew this global empire.
Yeah, and he never gave them a list of stuff to do. So he didn't make them invent the pile driver or any of that kind of stuff, or like the DDT. He didn't. He was just like, it's almost like if you're not entertaining and your numbers don't go up, you don't work here anymore. Mm-hmm. So he was like, it's like this negative incentive to like go bigger, do crazier, more dangerous stuff. Because you know what? If you don't get the ratings, I'm sorry. I got 200 people knocking on my door that are willing to do a backflip off the top buckle. And if you're not, then, hey, you know what? You can be like what's the one guy? There's always, as a kid in Iowa, I went to a WWF event that was like a filmed. It was one of the filmed ones, so it wasn't one of the like the little. It was like, so when that happens, there's the main events like the Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan, but then they also have these like filler events where it's like the Ultimate Warrior versus Bob.
Right. Yeah.
And then you just watch Bob get his ass kicked. Right. And then when they film it, one match later, Bob's fighting again, but now he's in like some mystery tag team.
Oh yeah.
And then another match later, Bob's in there again.
Hey, it's a journeyman.
Like, damn, Bob. You're just getting your ass
Bob works.
kicked. Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's the thing is like they got paid per match or whatever. So he's just going for like pure volume. He's like, I don't need to win.
He's just like local wrestlers that are in whatever region. They have their own little like minors or something.
Traveled with them as like journeymen. I would imagine also too that some of them were probably like trainers. Kind of like the assistant coach that's basically sparring match for these stars. So they have to know all the moves. Because you cannot hurt a star, all that stuff. So I would imagine that they were basically like the trainers that just went in, sparred, and then they just threw them in like some blue underwear and said, lose.
I've been watching a lot of, I still really love the UFC. I don't get to watch as much as I like to right now, but I'll watch some clips of like the best knockouts of February 2020. But my favorite stuff is when they show videos of regional fights. Those are without a doubt the best, where it's just like guys who are up and comers or just two 45-year-old guys who are trying to like get a second lease on their sports career. And I love those arenas where it's just like it's just all smoky and it's just like surrounded by dudes in like affliction shirts and like diamond studded jeans, just drunk off their rockers screaming. It's amazing stuff. But the local circuit is something that I wish we had footage of when these guys were coming up, because Jake the Snake was talking about that before he went to the WWE. Was like going to the local circuit, and it was just like this guy put an ad in the paper, hey, I'm training wrestlers. So he signed up and showed up with 10 other guys, and by the end of the training it was just him and I forget who it was. There was one other guy who ended up being famous in the group.
Like Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah, but they just had to work their way up, and they play like hotel lobbies and things like that for $10 a show until they get to the big show. It's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. And it's funny because nothing but trouble. They say the line in the movie in like the first 45 minutes, and then mayhem. But wrestling movies,
5 out of 5.
So the wrestler with what's his name?
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
So the wrestler with Mickey Rourke, fantastic movie.
But
definitely digs into that side of the business of how it's like you just get beat up and not cared about and like deal with it kind of thing. But then also the new one that came out a couple years ago with Shia LaBeouf, Peanut Butter Falcon. Very indie, hard to like. I had to hunt it down, but it's a kid who grows up watching these movies, and he's I think he has Down syndrome, but he keeps escaping from his care facilities because he wants to wrestle, and he stumbles across Shia LaBeouf, who's in a bad way. So they form this little friendship, and they go meet like his hero, who's like Swamp Bob. I can't remember his name, but it's something like that. It's like Swamp Gator Bob Jones or something like that. So they go to this place, and yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's like these old rundown dudes who did something 20 something years ago, but that kid doesn't know any better. And it's that type of movie. It's worked into just the weirdness of it. But yeah, Peanut Butter Falcon and The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke.
You never heard of that, Brian? Peanut Butter Falcon? Yeah, it came out. I think it was last year.
Never heard of it.
I remember the trailers.
The trailers were like on YouTube, like ad nauseum. It was so
check it out.
Hard to miss.
I think it got some festival.
Yeah, a bit of an indie darling, like one like Toronto and things like that. I think it was kind of one of those.
It was also kind of like the resurgence or reappearance of Shia LaBeouf after he went through.
Speaking of, have you seen him lately?
No.
So he's in David Ayer's new movie. Shia LaBeouf. He's in David Ayer's new movie about he's a sort of a crime, like a Latino crime boss. Dude, he got a full. So the guy he's playing is a real person. And he has this full chest tattoo. So he just got it. He just got the tattoo. So he just tatted his entire chest and neck up for the role. Like
real tattoo.
Yeah, real tattoos. Like going deep, man. Yeah, it's crazy. The trailer's pretty good. It's very David Ayers. It feels very what's that one with Jake Gyllenhaal? End of Watch. It feels kind of End of Watch-esque. But yeah, I'll find a picture of Shia because I saw the thing. I was like, that can't be real. And no, it was real. Because I found it through a tattoo page because it was like the tattoo artist was like, I'm so excited to do his tattoo, and I was like, $10,000. Wait, what? Yeah, exactly. So he just sat there and
paid for it. He was on Hot Ones, which is a YouTube show where they eat spicy chicken wings, and then they actually do a really good job interviewing him. But he was talking about how he had PTSD from his car wreck. There it is. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Like full body.
He actually got PTSD from the accident during Transformers, and then how the industry just didn't care. Like just kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. And he went on that weird like artistic journey where he watched all of his films with an audience. He did the art thing where he sat in a room and gave everyone 30 seconds to do something or say something to him. So he had this like mental breakdown.
Right.
And then he went to rehab, and then during rehab he reconnected with his father, which is where the movie Honey Boy, I think that's what it's called, where that comes from, where he plays his father and then he has somebody play him, basically just like through the therapy process reliving how he got there, like how he got to where he literally is right now. And then Peanut Butter Falcon snuck in there too. So he's gone a journey. And then it doesn't surprise me that he went full beans tattoo. It's shocking for sure, but it's not like Ryan Reynolds got like this emblazoned falcon with a snake wrapped around his neck. That'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Say like Shia LaBeouf did it. Like, yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, it's daring, but I get it.
No one's super surprised. Yeah.
But
he was feeling like he was getting too stable. Oh, I'm starting to I need to do something insane. I'll regret years later. Okay.
But in Peanut Butter Falcon is definitely one to watch because it's how do you say this nicely? You have to be very careful when you deal with special needs. I mean, they talked about it. People have talked about ad nauseum. You do have to be very careful, and they did such a good job of respecting this actor who has Down syndrome, but like and broaching the subject, the way that people act towards him. They did such an amazing job of respecting that but still not ignoring it's in the room, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
not exploiting it, but also not shying away.
Right. It's not like, is it the Farrelly brothers that they did like Stuck on You, and where they bring in people with special needs, but it's always kind of like this weird, I always feel weird watching it because it's like a weird cameo where they're just like, hey, we brought in these special people, which is great, but they're never part of the movie.
Right.
I've never really understood the Farrelly brothers. Like it's just not my style of comedy or whatever, but I just never really, even when they were super hot, just wasn't really my thing.
Like Stuck on You is really good.
Yeah.
That's the with Greg Kinnear and Matt Damon.
I haven't watched that one, but
Kingpin is funny.
It's wonky, but it's really good. Kingpin is really funny, and
Kingpin
they also did something about Mary.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. So I revisited Dumb and Dumber about a year ago, and I was just like, I don't get it.
I somehow have a soft spot for that one. I don't know.
It's our hometown, man.
Of our hometown,
maybe. Yeah.
That one I give a big old slide to. I don't know.
I liked it when I was young. I watched it with my parents, but I tried to watch it within the last 3-4 years, and I was like cringing the whole time.
Yeah. You know what I tried to watch the other night? It was after Nothing But Trouble. I was like, what should I watch?
Your mental palate cleanser.
I was trying to figure, and I was on HBO Now, just kind of browsing, and Midway was on, and like I love World War II movies, and we can talk about Greyhound at some point in time down the road. We can start off an episode with it, but I was like thinking about it, and I lasted about 4 minutes. It was just
Roland Emmerich.
Yeah, I mean, it was just because the acting was. I'm sure that it, like, if I had just pushed through, it would be enjoyable, But I can't do like young macho white guys burning each other anymore. I just can't do it anymore. I can't do the post-adolescent, never grown up attitude thing. And it was just a very clearly like a British actor doing a real bad American accent. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
The trailer, I remember when I first watched, I was like, is this a theatrical release, full budget movie? There's something about it. Until I started seeing people, I was like, oh, there's Woody Harrelson or whoever. Here's that one guy that's in stuff, and Lee Black and Flim Flam. Oh, they're all in it. Wow,
what's his name? Deal. His name's something ridiculous like Tom Davis, but he's in literally everything.
Yeah, that guy.
What's his name?
And then the other people.
Yeah.
All these faces. I go, there's a face that I've seen before. But I looked and I was like, is this like a Christian movie production company?
Yeah. Do you know why? Because it's the ridiculous, insane color grade of like the sunsets that always sets it off for me. Like because they're showing all the airplane stuff, and it was just like the most orangey sky, and it just the plane looked fake. Everything about like the CG stuff in the opening bit was just so rough.
There's bad shadows.
Yeah, the bad shadows. It totally looked like.
Because it opens Pearl Harbor, right? Is that what it opens on?
No.
Pearl Harbor's happened. Yeah, Pearl Harbor's happened.
Okay.
And then this is basically them saying that can never happen again. So it's the all the historians out there are going to correct us, but yeah. It's when Pearl Harbor happened, and then they had to try to figure out what's next. Like, we have to prevent what's next, but we need to figure out where it is. And then it's how intelligence, I mean, you can't blame it, it's the 40s, but how intelligence didn't have the information, but one colonel or whatever had a code breaker who did like the Donald Glover thing where he sleeps in his office, and he uncovers something, and they start figuring out it's probably Midway and not this other island. And then like there's a pissing match about the generals sending more people to this one, and then there's literally nothing there, and then
but Midway the happens. Movie opens though on like it's like 1936, and that guy from The Thing with the face is in Japan talking to General Yamamoto. Right. And he's like friends with him because they like went to they like they went to college together or something ridiculous, like they went to Harvard together, which is probably real. But he's just like, General, you seem upset. I am upset. Why are you upset? Because I think I have to go to war. With us, maybe. Black, and it was like that kind of thing. We're like,
like if this was a G.I. Joe episode cartoon, that'd be great. Yeah.
I was gonna say that. Was that sure? That's not a 1980s cartoon.
That's what I was thinking when you said Dumb and Dumber never set well with you. I was like, well, what if it was a 15-minute cartoon? Would you like it? It's possible. It was rough, so I just didn't do it. So I caught up on Perry Mason instead, which is a better choice. Yeah.
I have to watch the latest one. I'm not caught up yet.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
We're a little behind because my wonderful wife had a wonderful idea. And I had been saying how I miss going to the movie theater. Mm-hmm. So she was like, why don't we just do an all-day bonanza? So we did.
Oh, you did?
We watched,
I saw it.
We watched some stuff on Friday night. So we watched Greyhound Friday night. And then on Saturday, we did 6. So we tied the record, 6 movies.
Wow. What was the string, the complete run?
Hang on, it's over here.
I gotta get my notes.
So we started with Somewhere in Time, which is a movie that we should definitely talk about. It's Christopher Reeves. He's a playwright that gets visited by a stranger and handed a gift. It's a time travel. It's actually super good. It's in the 80s somewhere, and it's solid Christopher Reeves. It's actually really good. So we started with Somewhere in Time, and then we did Stripes.
Nice.
Which is, as a child, is like, yeah, and then as an adult, like, wow, how did that hold up? Okay. And then we did Bridge of Spies, and then we kept on the Hanks train and did Da Vinci Code.
Oh, wow.
Which we then got in the mood for puzzles, so then we watched National Treasure, and then because of Nicolas Cage's wonkiness, we then watched Pirates of the Caribbean.
Wow. That's quite a journey.
Oh, man, it was the best.
Yeah.
That is
were you purposefully like, we're just gonna... I'm surprised you didn't have a plan. Like, it sounds like you were just kind of winging it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because our movie tastes are different. They just are. So in order to do 6 in a day, we can't just line up 6 movies that I want to see. So there's that compromise of like, how do we find ones that are interesting and good? Not necessarily a new movie, because that could immediately derail it. So you go into like just nice popcorn comfort. So we had a plan of, I think we started with, we knew we were going to watch Somewhere in Time at one point and Stripes. Those are the ones that really kicked it off. And then from there, it just kind of, like I said, they kind of just fed into each other. Because there was, we watched Greyhound. Like I said, Greyhound was supposed to be part of the original stuff, but Friday night was just a good night. So we watched that then. Also, because I couldn't remember if we just didn't know how long it was. So we're like, we don't want that to kind of screw up the timing type stuff. But yeah, they just fed into each other. And we got the double Hanks, which was good.
Nice. So, well, you got the triple Hanks if you count Friday night.
That's true. Yeah. Also, yeah.
So hanky.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so good. And
the trifecta.
We're trying to figure out how to do it again. You definitely have to space it out, because we started at I think we started like 10 a.m. and got done at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple of food breaks and bathroom breaks. Just that's the other thing too, is we didn't just auto roll into the next one. Like, we gave amounts of time. Like, we have a small dog, so we had to feed the dog, take it for a walk, that kind of stuff. So we were able to add some space in there, but still do it. Like, we were fully committed to like, we're so close to the record. Let's punch it out. So
nice.
Yeah. It was so good.
Were you telling your neighbors 6 times, and they're like, "Oh wow, guys, movies." Oh,
broke the record.
Oh yeah.
Natalie and I were talking because we would go to the movies quite a bit too, and since you can't do that in the apocalypse, we were like, let's go to the drive-in. So we went to the drive-in last night and we did the double feature.
Nice.
The movies were slim pickings. We decided we wanted to see 2 new movies. So we went. The first movie was called The Rental, which that was directed by Dave Franco. Are you gonna see it?
Is that Alison Brie? Who's that?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna see
Alison
it because of Alison Brie.
Yeah, I mean, I
Dave Franco directed it.
might check it out.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say too much then.
Okay.
I can share my
float.
thoughts
I'll be
private.
fine. Yeah.
Huh?
Private
Float
thoughts.
It's a cool idea. I'm just going to say that. And then the other movie, which we did not stay for, was called The Big Ugly. It was, like Ron Perlman, a couple of you'd know them if you saw them, but two big British actors. They're like British gangsters come over here to launder money, and one of them's wife goes missing. So he finds out, one of the hillbilly mafia guys from West Virginia killed her. So spoilers, by the way. So that kind of happens, but we were both falling asleep and we're like, let's go home. But yeah, like I was a big baby because the first one, we took blankets and everything and we turned my car around, opened the hatch and watched it.
Nice.
But, like, of course I was uncomfortable because I'm a wuss and my back hurt. And if I laid back, I couldn't see the screen. And my stupid car has the lighting on like the hatch that we could not get to turn off.
Yeah.
So I was like fidgeting and messing with the car for like half of the first movie. So like the next one, let's turn the car around. And then like 45 minutes in, we were falling asleep. Like, let's just go home.
Yeah.
But like, I want to go back. Like
Yeah.
on screen 2, they were doing the Goonies and the Gremlins. And in hindsight, we probably should have just watched those.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is a movie that holds up is Goonies. It's just still
Can I tell
so
you guys
good.
I had other
secret?
friends that did not think so. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. What's the
You enjoyed
secret?
it still?
I've never seen the Goonies.
Whoa. Wow.
I'm gonna need you to ship that stuff back to me.
Are you pulling my nerd card?
Yeah. Well, maybe
I've seen Gremlins, but not in a long time.
Do that in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I should probably watch the Goonies.
I don't want you
if you're gonna
with
play an at-home movie bonanza, your lineup right now is Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
No.
Goonies,
Yep.
What was the other third one that we were all just like, what?
Yeah, there was another one.
There's a third one in there, but I'll make a
Which I
list.
hadn't seen.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
I got you.
And then Royal Tenenbaums.
Not
at the
watching
end.
Lord of the Rings.
Dude, you
Not
might
gonna do
like it. At least the first one.
I tried.
The first one?
I tried to watch it. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know
that
how.
was like
Lord of the Rings.
It's been a long time, so I don't know how well they've held up. I'm not sure. I mean, they were pretty cheeseball.
they never
Yeah?
held up.
Hey, how dare you? You wouldn't know. You've never watched them or read the books.
You shall
not
not podcast.
I think I'm getting fired right now.
Oh no.
No, you sound
Right.
you sound
Perfect.
too good.
That's right.
That new mic is working it.
Yeah,
Smooth.
new mic
Yeah.
saved by the new mic.
So that
Dude,
was,
this thing weighs like 2.5 pounds. It could be a weapon.
Yeah, it looks heavy.
Yeah, like I've got my stand like so tight because I'm afraid it's just gonna like fall over from the weight.
that's
Looks
your
good.
next purchase is a different stand setup because you have to accommodate now.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's so weird. Like I've seen lots of movies, but there's some I haven't, and people are like, "What?
Mm-hmm.
How dare you?"
Well, no,
Well, no,
there's
that- I mean,
lots like
that's-
that.
There was a point in time where I think I
Mhm.
went on like I went on a movie hiatus for a whole year.
Yeah,
Where I was
When?
just like, this is back in like 2005, 6 or
Oh.
something like that. I don't-
Nick.
Yeah, no.
I don't
Doesn't
remember
sound like
exactly
you.
what the motivation was for it. I think it was just can I do it? And then I was like, why am I doing it? It was dumb.
I was
Just
But,
trying to prove it to yourself.
But there's a lot of movies that I did a whole year, but it was definitely one of those like where there's a whole year of movies that are just I haven't seen in a theater. So I think I own some of them, but I think if you were to ask me like, well, what movies did you miss? I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to start rattling off stuff, and I'd be like, nope, yes, nope, I don't know. But yeah, So don't feel bad about not seeing certain movies because this is my favorite thing too. People know I've seen a lot of movies, but they will say some movie like, "Have you seen The Lady Falcon?" Like, no. They're like, "What?" Like, listen, let's not play the who hasn't seen what
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
because I probably have an entire shelf of movies you've never even heard of. So let's not play the who hasn't seen what game.
Well, that's kind of like Eric. Your other podcast is very much those kinds of movies, like film nerd movies sometimes, right? Where it's just like that kind of stuff where it's like, no,
Well,
I've
at
never
least
seen that.
they'll start talking about something, and it's like they've all seen it, and then they're like, I'm like, I haven't seen it, and it doesn't even have to be that. What did we talk about? We talked about Monster Squad, and I was like,
yeah.
I somehow missed Monster Squad.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of things that are
Yeah.
same thing for me.
I feel like it's sort of
like, why did you not see that? I'm like, I don't know. We had 3 channels,
It's
and I was
Right.
making a ditch.
Go drive out where my house was. You'll understand everything. Yeah.
Go look at the ditches I dug. I don't know. What do you want from me?
It always makes me think of Nintendo games. Like when we were kids, there were some games that you just never had, and some games that you had. And so it was like my cousin had Mike Tyson's Punch Out and Excite Bike and a couple of those, and for whatever reason we didn't have those. We were like really into the Mario Brothers games. So so whenever we would go to each other's houses, we play the other one, you know. So it's like or just never played them. You know, I got that the Sega Genesis recently. It's the new one that came out. It's got 50 games on it. And
it's like all in one controller thing.
Yeah, and it's like one. It's like a small miniature version. Actually, the top, even where the cartridge goes, still opens up, but it's like, you know, little tiny thing. But it's pretty cool. It's like a little miniature version of it.
Two little flaps.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But we never. I mean, growing up, me and my brothers, we had Nintendo stuff. We never had the Sega Genesis, but there were crossover games that, you know, both systems had, like Street Fighter and things like that. So you can play those. But there are some games on there where it's just like what level of drugs / antidepressants were these guys on when they made this game?
Earthworm Jim.
It's a really good one. Yeah, great example. Yeah, you literally pull your own head off and use it as a whip / lasso / like rope climbing tool. It's crazy town.
Yeah, Sega did that. Nintendo was the very
they're super safe,
straightforward gaming, right? Racing, action adventure, whatever. Sega was like the weird. It's almost like comic books where you've got like the Avengers, and then you have like deep Japanese manga. You're like, ooh. Oh boy.
Right. What's wrong with that lady's face? Yeah.
Which company's still around today?
Yeah, right. Yeah, true.
Nintendo's played it safe, and they're still huge.
I remember there was a game that came out called Virtua Fighter, and it was supposed to be like the next level Street Fighter with like crazy graphics, and it came out with that poster, and it was like very 3D graphics back in the day when that looked really cool. And then the game came out, and it's just trash. It's so bad. The graphics are worse than Street Fighter, and it's like 7 years older than Street Fighter, or 7 years younger, rather.
It was the game. It was the first game that ever actually recognized 3D space.
Right.
So Street Fighter was just like dunk, 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 dunk. Virtua Fighter, the fighters would actually roll dodge in 3 dimensions, but all of that took all the clout from everything else.
Yeah.
Because they're like, listen, we can go 3 dimensions or have really good graphics.
Or have a good game.
Yeah. 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
Because I was watching something just the other day where the game was so lightweight now that they actually put it into another game as like a mini game, and it's true. Like it's honest code. It's not like a revamp. It's like it is the source code. And in Virtua Fighter, they had the 3D space, but that also broke the physics of jumping. So when you jumped, you would like go to the moon and like float back down to the moon and float back down.
Sounds amazing.
That's just the sacrifice they made. But I remember.
Well, but that seems like a sacrifice at that time. That's probably good for developers to go, we got to get on this 3D thing. What do we just throw under the bus to get there?
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't need to process the physics of it. Yeah.
Speaking of Nintendo games, I have a question for you guys, and here I'm tying it back into the Back to the Future.
Please.
But I'm staring at this thing. Did you guys play the Back to the Future game on regular Nintendo?
No.
I had it,
I think so.
And it was so hard. I could never ever, but I've never been super great at video games ever. Like I played a lot when I was a kid, but I've never been good at it at all. And that was the hardest game to ever get past the first level, because like basically you're running through the streets of Hill Valley and trying to get back to the DeLorean, because you got to get, I think you have to go rescue Doc or something, and you're just running through, and people are just putting up obstacles to stop you. And it's so freaking hard. And I always ask people when video games come up, because a lot of people have played it, and everyone I ask, like, did you get past the first level? Everyone's like, no.
Never.
So I'm like, I got to get I gotta get my hands on original Nintendo and find that game again because like I want to try it again.
It was like the very first Ninja Turtles. Did you play that?
Yeah,
and that was
made me
just
think
so
of
much
Ninja
super
Turtles.
hard because
It's
my
fun,
brothers
though.
and I would always get to the one where you're driving in the car. So you're playing as a turtle for most of the game, and you go through the water part, and you kind of make it through there, and then you're driving around in like the turtle tank. And from there, my memory is kind of wiped. I don't really remember what the challenge was, but I remember we never got past that level.
Because you got to dodge things.
Yeah.
In a controller. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always that's the funnest part of old Nintendo games and Atari games is that every single game has a certain point where you're like, did you get past that? And everyone goes, nope. Like there's a rare breed of people that got past it or use like a game genie to like level skip or something.
Oh, speaking of cheat codes, so on the Genesis, there's a game called like Thunder Patrol or something like that, but it's like the side-scrolling airplane game. So you're flying the spaceship and you're flying through a tunnel and you're killing all of the crazy things that pop up in front of you. But I looked up the cheat code where you can get all the weapons, and I still can't even even remotely beat the first level. It's out of control. I don't even know like what level of crack we were on when we were kids to be able to do that. Like the reflexes and stuff. I don't know if everything's just slowed down in my brain, so I can't handle it. But
it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Well, then
getting old,
even
Matt.
then back then though,
a little bit.
The processing power is so strong now that that old stuff was just like Twitch memory, right? So you would
pretty much.
You would come in and it would like flash, it would like flicker, and then it was on and it was across the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But the processing was so slow that it was within reasonable reaction time. Now with like all the graphical processors and stuff being so amped up, that stuff just flies across the screen. So it's almost like you physically can't keep up.
That's how
so
video gamers are, climbing to the level of professional athletes in terms of like income and stuff like that. Because in order to be that good at a thing and generate that kind of revenue and income for like a league, you have to be like on that level. Or these kids who start at a super young age and work their way up. There's a guy that is in the World of Warcraft League. There's like this mini documentary that came out a couple years ago on a very random, like one of those super random cable channels, like Axis or whatever. But I caught it somewhere along the lines. And yeah, this dude like became one of the greatest World of Warcraft players and was like one of the top teams. And the way that he learned it, like living like in his aunt's house.
What's his name? Leroy Jenkins.
I think it was.
Well done.
But he was using like an actual, like the old school CCTV type monitors and like an old clunky keyboard. So he's using basically technology from like the late 90s with an internet connection to play World of Warcraft and become that good without any tech. It's pretty crazy. So I mean, I guess it was a gift, but not one of my gifts, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Not me either.
Yeah.
I always sucked. I got that made me think the cheat code thing. I got RoboCop versus Terminator for I think Genesis, and that's one of those where you're just. I mean, it's just shooting up the wazoo, of course. Yeah. It's RoboCop and Terminator. Yeah. But yeah, by the time you get to the end, I have the cheat code where it's just RoboCop's invincible. And I'm like, I couldn't even last like 2 seconds if I didn't have this cheat code.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
Just like, there's just like 500 Terminators flying around.
Yeah, there's a Contra game on this one. It's like one of the Contra spin-offs, or sort of this post-apocalyptic version. And yeah, it's the same thing where I don't even know how the processor was keeping up with the amount of bad guys it was throwing at me. Like, what is happening? And it didn't really stop. And so you know how the TV screen, like there could be bad guys that aren't visible who could be shooting at you. It was like that level too. So there's bad guys in the screen that I can't see, and there's just bullets coming at me from all angles. And about 14 seconds later, all of my lives are gone. I have no idea which character I was. I don't even remember seeing him.
Which one was I?
Yeah, which guy
and then,
was I?
as you did back then, you just whipped your controller across the room
threw
and
it.
left.
I was over it.
Yeah.
I gotta fix my camera.
And they come right back to it and go,
try it again. I'll beat you.
As I said, I've never ever been super good at video games. I just never was. But as you guys know, I've talked about my fairly recent Formula One obsession. Well, that's of course spilled over into the PlayStation game, which is I played one of those years ago and it was total crap, and now it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Looks like the real thing.
Yeah, it looks real. And I've been playing like, the season mode, the career mode, doing pretty well. And my friend's like, hey, you want to race, online with me? I'm like, yeah, sure.
God. Oh no.
And I was like, how do you do it? And he's like, what do you mean, how do you do it? I just sent you an invite. I was like, Jeff, I've never ever played video games online before. And so he had to tell me, like, he's like, well, you got to sign up for it. And I'm like, now this is costing me money. Oh, $10. Okay, I'll try it. And then I played it, and I was like, just did donuts the whole time. Because, they play on, like, I was playing, automatic, not, like the game shifts gears for you. And I had the driver's aids that showed me the lines on the track. Of course, they play no driver's aids, full damage, full manual transmission. And I was like, and I'm driving and I'm just spinning out. I'm like, what is happening? Like, I play like by myself and I do okay. And he's like, Brian, you got to shift. I'm like, how do you do that? What button is that? It was like basically like someone trying to teach their grandma how to play Halo or something. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's my
and he's
whole
like,
life.
here, let me switch it back. Yeah.
Switch it for you.
There's been a couple of games early on where, like you play locally and you're like, man, I'm good. Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then you get online and you're like, okay, I'm offline again, and that was not fun. And the racing games are bad. I remember we had in Morgan in high school, we played GoldenEye a lot, like a lot of GoldenEye, to the point where I thought we were pretty good, a pretty good player. Then I go to college, and they're like, so what do you guys do? And I mentioned I play GoldenEye and this and this. And they're like, oh, we should play sometime. Like, yeah, all right, fine. Thinking like, yeah, this would be great. I got my ass kicked. Just destroyed, like with strategies, stuff I hadn't even thought of. And it was just like, well, that was fun. Get out. just get out. I don't want to play anymore. No. I'm like, come on, man. Like, nope. This is a different level of gaming. I can't do it. And then there's a game.
I realize all my friends are morons and terrible at playing. No, I don't.
But the good news is you come back to Fort Morgan and destroy us because we were worse than you.
Right. But then, like, I think we were playing like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which again it's an offline game, but you play it. And then I think, I came home for Christmas break or something, and I had it, and people were at the house, and they're like, hey, let's play Pro Skater. And I would score, like, let's call it, like 1 million points in a run. And then I think it was Cleaver who scored something like 1 billion, like broke the scoreboard. And I was just like, how the hell?
That's all you knew.
How is that even? And just whipping stuff out that it was almost like I would be really bad in the Matrix because I'd be so attuned to the rules that I wouldn't know what to do. But he was like bending the Matrix playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
That's how it is when I play. So I play occasionally Star Wars Battlefront with my brothers. But we started by playing PUBG, which, is that first-person shooter, sort of like Battle Royale. 75 people drop into a map, and you have to go around, hunt, find your weapons, stock up. But the thing about it is, like, the map is, let's just call it like, a mile in circumference. Like, it would be an actual physical mile if you were real people. So it can take some time to get to where you need to go. But we would always play the game to the point where, like, all stocked up, best gun, all the ammo, ready to go. All right, we see some guys over there, and then headshot from behind. And it would but the thing about PUBG is like you're in it for like 30 minutes before you even run into anybody. If you drop outside of the main areas, and then you're dead in 2 seconds, and all your cool stuff gets pilfered. But it's just, it got real annoying after a while. So we went to Star Wars, which is a little bit more of you just get dropped in and you just get respawn until your team wins. And you're playing as battle droids or stormtroopers or rebels or whatever. But I am totally that kid, like, but 1 billion times worse of your version of yourself in college, where I'm having a great time and I'm smiling. I have no idea what's happening. Like, I don't even know. So like, I think I shot somebody. No, that was me that died. But it's so much fun. It's like that.
I'm back.
Star Wars.
I had a roommate in college that was super, super, super into Halo, and every day, he would get up, he'd go to class, come home, and he'd get on, play online with his friends, and I tried to play a couple times, and I would just like spawn and immediately die. Like, I couldn't even get out of the spawn and I was dead. I'm like, Dan was like, Dan, how is this any fun? He's like, well, you got to learn. I was like, I don't have these skills. No.
Yeah.
How much time is that going to take?
Yeah, I'd rather have fun
like,
not learning.
Yeah, and it just turned into me. I would just sit on the couch and get drunk and watch him play, and just say like the most hateful, raunchy things to his friends over the headset. I was like, no, this is more fun just like this.
Just watching this.
Yeah,
happen.
well, that was like early days of Call of Duty when it being one of the original online shooter games, like the 20 minutes or less type of thing, just repeat. It got to the point in that game where I wasn't good, but I was having fun. But I was getting more geeked about the statistics of stuff because there were challenges like use 5 claymores in a match or, get 100 ricochet kills. So I was going for that stuff. And people are like yelling at me like, why are you not doing this and this? And I'm like, listen, that's not how this works.
Right.
That's not how this game is being played by me. You guys are like 6 times prestige. You got golden weapons. Like you guys are fine. Like I'm not hurting you. Just if I knock out 5 kills in this round, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna do all this other kooky nonsense that I want to do. Because there would be points where I would be like, you know what, tonight I'm gonna win. That's what I'm gonna do. Mm-hmm. And then you get like a nice setup, and then you're dead 10 seconds later, and then they're spawn camping, and you're dead again, and you're just like.
The first time one guy is mean to me or says anything like rude, I'm out. And it happened like one time, and I was just like, I don't want to play video games anymore. It's like being on Reddit. Like, what's the point if you're all just going to be dicks all the time? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's just like when someone's a dick to you, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to play more. I have to go to bed because I have to get up and go to my job tomorrow.
Go to the thing I do.
I've used that before. I've used that excuse a lot of like, well, gotta go to work tomorrow, and they're like, we're gonna go to school. Like, yeah, I gotta go to work.
Yeah,
one of them
get up and
I
gotta get up and go to my job and my less than 2-year-old car.
I think that some guys that I work with at the day job, they all play like Call of Duty together and stuff. And yeah, just from listening to their stories, like it's just, I feel like there's a documentary to be made about just that culture.
Man,
like,
it is crazy now. There was a Rooster Teeth, which I've talked about before. They did Red versus Blue, but they have a partner company called Achievement Hunter, which then spawned a channel called Let's Play. And they have a staff member who is a world ranked, trying to think of the name of the game. We'll just call it Call of Duty because I can't think of what the actual one's called. But he is a world ranked player, and so they had a computer company that builds PCs. They had them sponsor a small series where his job was to recruit and train staff of this company to play Siege, I think is the name of the game, to play Siege in a professional setting. So it was, and yeah, you're right. Like there's a language, there is knowledge, there's documentation, there are things called callouts where you'll say like, I'm going to screw it up, but it's essentially like a way of saying I'm in the red room, which is next to the library, and there are 2 guys in the normal spot. So when you come, don't walk in front of that door because you will get shot. But they'll say it like super snappy and like all in shorthand, just communicating this stuff. And you'd think like if you just had the audio, you're like, am I listening to like a SEAL team invade like a console in Pakistan? And you're like, no, it's a bunch of 18-year-old kids shooting each other electronically in a video game. And don't worry, they're going to do it for the next 8 hours. And then they're going to lose their mind if they're a point down. There
was like in a video game arena here, I think it was in Burbank or maybe Universal City or something. And that same friend, he lived out here for a while. He actually just moved back right before the Rona. And he asked me one time, he's like, do you like want to like go to this arena with me and watch people play video games? I'm like, sure, I guess.
Morbid curiosity.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna be fun, but yeah, I'm frankly I want to see how that
eat Doritos and drink Mountain Dew and
I was like, do they have beer at this arena?
Well, the big World of Warcraft events and the other, especially the big RPG events, are crazy. Like legit feels like WWF or like a hockey game or something like that, where these guys are playing
Super
the
Bowl
game
or whatever, yeah,
and they're showing it up on the jumbotrons, and people are just going nuts. They've got favorite players. Like esports is just out of control. It's huge. It's legit. At this point in time.
It's impressive to the point that you can't be mad at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like esports was not a thing when we were playing video games. Like there's no way. There's no GoldenEye clan or anything like that. There's none of that. But nowadays, right? Yeah, it is a legitimate. As soon as it became a legitimate business, it became a legitimate danger.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because, you know, again, sorry, I'm bringing up Formula One again, but you know, like they were shut down along with every other major sport ever. So all their drivers were racing and like on
iRacing. Yeah.
iRacing and doing all these races, and like, you know, that was kind of like a substitute, and like, but it was like official with their teams. But there's also this sport this type of race called Formula E. It's like Formula One cars kind of, but they're electric. And they were doing, you know, they were having Formula E esport races, and one of these drivers, he let one of his like fans like sign in as him and drive in the race. Like he thought it would be fun.
Yeah.
And then people got mad. He got fired from his actual racing team.
What?
Because his name was Daniel.
Brand damage.
Yeah. And he was like, it was a goof. I thought it'd be fun for the guy, but like the guy he let do it was an actual like professional esports racer,
right?
And he was like, I thought it would be fun, like I wasn't hiding it, like, and he actually got fired from his actual race drive.
That's crazy.
Were there stakes in these video games, or is it just for the sake of entertaining fans?
I think this particular one was doing it for charity or something, which was also, I think, another reason he was like, I'm not very good at e-racing, so I got an actual professional e-driver to drive as me because I thought it would help.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I was like,
see, that just feels like free exposure, like nothing but a good thing, you know?
Yeah, it was just like,
merge the two worlds.
What earth, which apparently is ours, like should a professional race driver get fired because he let someone else race as him in
what's the headline? I'm trying to think how you
it's like from the Onion.
Yeah, it's just like
it's crazy that it has gotten to that point now too where it's not like there was real gambling. It was for charity. He wasn't false about it. Like there's no fraud. He said, yes, I think he did get fired because it's like a brand contract. Like no one could race underneath like Pennzoil but him or something like that. Which is what they got him as a breach of contract type of thing. Sure. But in like the giant crux of it, it's like
really, guys,
leave it alone. Are you kidding me?
And two, do you want like that's pretty crappy publicity for whatever.
100%, yeah, 100%.
Be like, don't you like us? We fired our guy over a video game.
Yeah. It's like, you know, then there's a NASCAR guy who was also e-racing, but he dropped racial slurs, which his team fired him, which frankly they should have. That's different.
That's what that's where I was going with that, was that he was doing it for shit, but there was another guy that can because he got on there and just got super racist. Someone's like, wait, aren't you this guy? No. Like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
It's totally you.
Guess what? Crazy. You're fired.
Well, now that I know that Neeko can find out where my mouse cursor is on my screen, you know, you would think that even signing in under like a different name, someone's going to find out who you are. Did you see that The Rock and his partners bought the XFL?
What?
Yeah, it came through on the Instagram because I follow him on Instagram, and I thought he was announcing, it was like, big announcement, we just acquired XFL. I thought he was saying like, I bought the, you know, whatever, the Seattle Dragons or whatever, like a franchise. Like I'm thinking about a team. No, he bought the XFL. So he just like owns an entire NFL you know, just basically. It's crazy. Money. Yeah. Right. I know, dude. Like, money. But here's the thing. You know what I did? First thing, snagged up a bunch of XFL football cards. Because you never know. Nice. Yeah. When The Rock owns it, you know? Well, but he bought it from McMahon,
too. He makes so much money off mostly not great movies. But, I mean, he does quite well for himself. And he, like, that's why, I mean, let's be real. He's a pretty decent actor when he wants to be. The dude can act.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, he definitely
can. And it's
act.
like, he's kind of one of those is like no matter what he does, it kind of turns to gold most of the time.
Oh, for
so
sure.
So it will probably work out
because everyone likes him. Kids, grandmas, everybody likes him.
Yeah, supposedly he's a super nice guy.
The De Niro of meatheads.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, when I saw
the Meryl Streep of football players,
he has like crossed that line of, yes, he's got like 3 guys worth of muscles on his body.
Yeah, he's huge.
But that's not his role anymore. You know, so when he did Ballers on HBO, that's what like elevated it for me.
Put him in the legit category.
Yeah, because it wasn't about the fact that he could bench 1 million pounds. Like this is my body type. That was like
I think it's just Euro. He can't bench 1 million pounds. Just
a million euros.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
for me, that was
crappy dad joke of the night.
You could take that step up, and then but also then like all the Hobbs and Shaw stuff. Like I'll cash a $20 million paycheck, or but then like the Jumanji movies. We watched the Next Level last night. It's really good. Like it's super cheesy. But we were joking about it because if you haven't seen it, in the first Jumanji, a kid takes over the Rock's body, or the kid plays the Rock as an avatar, but it's like this little Jewish kid with asthma, and he's really nervous, and then the Rock is confident. It's like literal personified confidence. And in the second one, his older grandfather, who's played by Danny DeVito, gets into that avatar. And we were watching it from like an objective. I was like, I wonder if to make this movie they didn't have Danny DeVito just read all the lines, and then have him work with Dwayne Johnson and be like, how would you say these lines? Because it's real close. It's 100% believable that Danny DeVito is in.
Or he just watched a whole bunch of It's
really
Always Sunny, and just got really used to it. I'm here for the scraps.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I've defended him before. Some people say, "Oh, he can't act. He just he's a beefcake and does all these weird disaster movies." Like, well, he does do a lot of disaster movies, but they usually make money. It's like, no, he actually can act.
And they're hard to. It's hard to act like the world is crashing down around you every summer.
Or it takes like when it's like there is no movie for this script. It's just disaster porn.
Yeah.
Okay, I can work with that.
Well, Ballers was an okay. I watched maybe the first season and a half. It was all right. It lost my interest after a while, but him and Rob Corddry were great together.
Right. Yeah. Their combo is good, and the plot definitely went off the rails to the point where we talked a little bit about like a show becomes successful, and they're like, we need to make a new season.
And
Not should we make a new season? Right. Yeah. It's like, should we make a new season? It's like, no, we got to make it. We got 1 million more subscribers because of Ballers.
House of Lies was a show that I loved. It was so good. The first season was just amazing. Don Cheadle and Kristen Bell and what's his name? Ben Schwartz. So good. And then by the second season, it just I don't know. They started doing weird weird like rapey things and just like I don't know, it's just weird stuff where you're just like, oh, I know what you're doing, like you're trying to raise the stakes, but we really literally just want to watch them go into a business and fix it. That was entertaining enough.
Yeah,
we didn't need the alternate drama outside of everything,
That's where it's hard with shows.
The Harlem Globetrotters episode was pretty great, huh?
Yeah,
the one where Louis Armstrong came in and played the trumpet.
Yeah.
It's hard with shows that are their whole point of the show is to introduce something that is unique to a lot of people. So House of Lies is a good example. Not a lot of people understand how corporate strategist type things work. Even something like Grimm, which was all about the Grimm's fairy tales, where I could have watched that show forever as long as they keep introducing new Grimm's fairy tale creatures and beings. But at some point they're like, no, now we need to have this overarching story, and it's like it falls apart. Like, well, now we have a love story, and they're like, so you guys ran out of
love stories.
Like they just couldn't stop it. Of just saying like, okay, we've introduced all the fun little characters. We can maybe have a couple little story arcs here, but now cut the show. They're like, nope, we took the thing that started it and just totally threw that aside, and now we're back into every formula sitcom that ever was, just with like monsters.
Yeah,
right. Just a milk.
Same thing about like House of Lies too, where there's
the
like
milk monster.
It was cool. They go in and deconstruct different companies, work on the finances,
I
all
loved
that fun
it.
stuff.
Because it was fun when it got weird
like,
with the characters. There was some fun stuff when like things would go off the rails, and it was really fun. But yeah, I loved just the conceit of the first season was killer. Yeah, but then it starts to get, I don't know, everyone just always wants to raise the stakes, raise it, and like, oh, you don't have to. That's not really how life necessarily works all the time.
Yeah.
I just started watching the new Unsolved Mysteries here and there. Like,
yeah, I
pop
finished
one
it.
of those. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty good. Like, feel like definitely like an updated way of telling the stories, but it was pretty good. But not really great on endings, being that they're unsolved.
Unsolved.
Yeah.
The
kind of like,
the bummer for me, I'm such a true crime nerd. Like, I think I knew all but one of the cases already.
Oh, really? Oh, funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everything but the UFO one?
Pretty much, I think. Yeah.
That one's crazy, though.
Yeah.
UFO abduction in like the 60s, right? Late 60s or something like that. Where, oh, dude, it's nuts. So, because it's in Connecticut. No, Massachusetts probably, because that's where everything crazy happens. But where this sort of 50-mile radius in all of these towns, simultaneously, these people got abducted by aliens over the course of like a 3-hour period. But yeah, exactly. That's the face that I made at first. They never talked to each other until a mother and son never talked to each other about the abduction until the Unsolved Mysteries people reached out to them about this. They didn't know. They never talked about it.
It sounds crazy, but
you can tell that they're telling the truth
too. They did a really
It's
nice
crazy.
job with it.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I
it's
believe that it happened.
Weird, and they all describe it exactly the same way. And they all kind of started calling like the radio station and telling their story. And somehow along the way, it all got brushed under the rug because if anyone brought it up, they just get made fun of immediately or ostracized. So no one talked about it for like 50 years. And it's just so weird. It's crazy. And they all described like the exact same experience. So, of course, after I watched that episode, I had to watch the SNL sketch where the alien abduction one with Ryan Gosling, which is just so good. Yeah.
And Kate McKinnon, right? That's
Kate McKinnon.
Yeah, she's.
There's several of those actually.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, really?
I think in every one she made because the host was always in it, so they I think she always made the host break in every single one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's one at the door. I think he was the lookout. The whole thing didn't exactly feel above board.
Well, it's always the references to when she's pantsless.
Yeah.
And then has like her toot shoot and her.
She's full on Porky Pig in it.
Yeah. All that's so good. That's quality.
This is kind of bringing it back to Dan Aykroyd because
Oh boy,
very into aliens.
I was hoping you were gonna bring it back to G.I. Joe. That's what I'm always hoping. That there's a tie-in.
I can.
Yes, please.
Into an episode where you think they're going to have aliens, but it just turns out it's Cobra turned one of their ships into something that looks like a UFO, and they're trying to fool everybody into thinking that aliens are going to take over. Yeah, it's
amazing. How far along are you? Are you done with it?
Oh, that original I'm done with. I started that 1989 show where they totally change it. Cobra's got a weird mask where you can see his eyes. I watched one episode and I was like, I don't think I can do this.
Is that the one where he's got the cloth mask? Or
no, the original he would go back and forth.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
No, this one it's here. I'll pull it up as we're talking. But yeah, I did not get far. But it's the theme that I remember. Got to get tough, Joe.
Yeah.
So I remember that. I was like, well, where the hell did that come from?
Fancy.
Michelada.
Wow. Delicious.
So right now I'm watching, there's a 2011 G.I. Joe called Renegades. That's essentially, it's G.I. Joe does the A-Team, kind of.
Yeah.
There's the group, just some of the characters. And
is that the one with Sergeant Slaughter?
No, that's the original.
Yeah, he showed up. Yeah, he showed up.
I thought he had like a spin-off. I thought there was like
maybe
the Slaughterhouse or something.
Well, in the movie, he's got his own team.
Okay.
Slot. Yeah, what are they called?
You're a G.I. Joe historian, so
yeah.
Am now until I forget about it in 4 weeks. Yeah. But yeah, Sergeant Slaughter. The great thing about him is like, I don't know if I've told you guys. Maybe it's the other podcast, but like. Everyone, of course, on G.I. Joe is a voice actor. Every single voice, and a lot of people do many voices, but they're all very trained people talking. And then Sergeant Slaughter comes on, who's this wrestler persona dude, who's the only non-voice actor, and he's just like, "Hey, Serpentor, I'm gonna kick you in the butt." Whoa. And it's just him. That's how every line that he says is delivered. Maybe in the movie they got a tinge of nuance, but
I feel like I remember it was very grumbly. Old man, get off my lawn, sort of thing.
Yeah. Like he's just and I just want to imagine he's in the booth and they're like, okay, let's just try if you do it down, just differently in some way. At this point, we don't care.
He just gets in the booth. He's like, "Hey, you guys told me there'd be a case of Coors Light in here. What the hell?"
Pretty much.
What the hell's this piss beer? Oh, okay, I'll drink it anyways. All right. I did all my lines once. I'm out of here. Bye. And he just walks out. And they're like, okay. Well,
but in his uniform, he never takes it off. Yeah.
Right.
Campaign hat. Wonderful.
Have you seen the Kevin Smith sound guy clips that he's been doing? His little 1 minute things on his Instagram. It's pretty great.
I've seen that they're there.
Yeah,
I haven't
he
watched
plays a sound guy trying to get a sound check. And, the best one is The Notebook, where he's like, "Hey, Mr. Gosling, can I just get a sound check?" And it's that scene where Ryan Gosling's going, "What do you want?" He's like, "Yeah, just a sound check, Mr. Gosling." "But what do you want?" "Yeah, just a sound check."
Nice.
It's great. It's really good. But he's got quite a few where he's in classic movies and he's trying to get the sound is checked. They're really, really good. Yeah, but that one by far is the funniest one.
Did you just give Kevin Smith a little bit of props?
I sure did.
Kevin James.
Oh, that Kevin James. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Nice.
They kind of gave him all the metal stuff.
Wetsuit.
Well, they did that to a lot of the characters, didn't they? They kind of bulked up their uniforms.
I think that's for toys, for merchandise.
Yeah.
It's all for toys, but I don't know. Maybe I need to ask my friend Steve, because he's if he ventured into that, he could tell me if it's worth it. Because that original show, oh boy.
Yeah. Is special. I'm going to check it out. Well, so what should
nothing but trouble.
So nothing but trouble.
Nothing but trouble.
1 out of 5.
Did I say the last thing I'll say about this is I had a very strong memory of how I felt watching it when I was 11, 12. And I watched it this time and I went, it's the exact same.
Yep.
I had no difference whatsoever.
Right.
I felt the exact same, and I went, okay.
That's the thing that also surprised me, was that I would think that it would be like going back to the Goonies, where the adult jokes were they would land oh my God, they're talking about premarital sex and rape. Holy shit. But no, this one, the same delivery, same landing. Nothing was now that I'm smarter, I'm oh, I get it. Nope. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Totally.
It's crazy.
When you guys brought it up to me, I was like, I've never seen this movie, and I watched it. And the point where he's in the crawl space looking through the hole in the wall at Dan Aykroyd's character going to bed and all the bones, I'm like, oh my God, I have seen this movie before because I remember that.
Yeah.
And I was
you
like,
just tried to block it out.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it back up. But, and I watched it, in time originally because we were going to do this last week. And then I've said many times, I try to watch them pretty close when we record so that it's fresh. And I was like, oh, we skipped a week. I should probably watch this movie again so it's fresh. And I was like, I can't do it. I don't have the heart.
No.
Yeah.
I would have been impressed if you had.
Yeah, it's sorry guys, I wish I was more fresh on this movie, but since we skipped a week, I just couldn't do it.
I was 30 minutes in and regretting the decision because I have so little free time. And so, which means I have so little free time to watch our movies that I felt like I did something that I might regret when I'm dying. Be ugh, could have saved all my friends 2 hours. We could have done better. Better use of my precious life.
On your deathbed, you got to call us and apologize for it.
You'll all get a text on our thread. Be sorry about nothing but trouble.
This movie is literally nothing but trouble.
Yeah.
And even the ultra twist ending of they escape. So they escape this horror show, and they get away and they go to the FBI, and then the FBI rolls in like a full SWAT team, And then the twist is that he's like, "There's a bee's nest behind you," and everyone's like, "Hi, Judge."
Yeah,
that
they're all in on it.
The federal government is totally cool with him, and they go to a point where he's in the attic. He's got like Jimmy Hoffa's wallet and like a bus of nuns or something.
Yeah, he's helped him out.
Yeah, all these disappearances from over the decades were all linked to him.
Yeah.
Like I think the two most ridiculous things about it is one is a total script problem when they get in their like cell/room and suddenly they start making out, like suddenly she's like into him.
Yeah, what is that?
And it's like makes no sense. And then at the end of the movie when it's like, no, my son-in-law lives in New York City, turns around, he's got his driver's license. We'll see you soon. And then they totally do the cartoon thing where Chevy Chase is run through the wall and there's a freaking cutout of a person in the wall. It's like, really? Come on, man.
It's insane.
Like Dan Aykroyd, like, you're funnier than this. You're
better.
But
I feel like they thought it was hilarious and they thought that it was a good idea because of that. Like, let's just get as ridiculous as we can. I think that was the whole point of the movie. So judging it on any other scale, be crazy. Yeah. But yeah, it was just like
but also it's I feel like this is where they were like, oh, okay, well, I mean, Aykroyd was part of Ghostbusters, and he was like, he wrote that original script, I think. So yeah, let's give him a shot at this thing.
Yeah. And
then they got inside of his brain, and they went, oh, yeah, we must never do that again.
Yeah, but Tupac, got that. Squeeze that in there.
That's true. That's one of those, like, it will forever be a trivia question.
Yeah.
What 1987 movie starring
91.
Dan Aykroyd? 91.
By the way, yeah, that's what makes it even grosser.
Starring Dan Aykroyd features Tupac. It's like that's a Final Jeopardy question right there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's yep.
That would be the winner.
I do. Part of me wants to really look. Probably not. Well, maybe read it if I can find it. The original Aykroyd Ghostbuster script, because I know when other people talk about it, Ivan Reitman and people, they're like, oh boy, there was lots of stuff, a lot of ideas in there that we had to pare down and make it not so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they don't say that, but that's what they're saying. They're saying it was insane and unfilmable and probably just budget anyways. Yeah. But like, it's good they go to space. Wow, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
We learn later that the script from Nothing But Trouble was basically just a slightly tweaked original Ghostbusters script.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I'm so glad they didn't make that one.
Instead of Slimer, it was, the judge his judge character.
Right.
Yeah. Janine was actually the sister, the mute sister.
Yeah.
It was a rough receptionist to call.
They were trying to get John Candy originally.
Hey, could I get some Ghostbusters over here?
What was the one part that I had of all the things to have a weird issue with was because she like chops cars or whatever. It's like, she's a big mechanic or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, there's a point where she's gonna take the torch and just like chop their car up, and she like got the mask, drops the welding shield, but still just has a dress. So I'm like, she would have put on like overalls.
The apron, right? Yeah.
I love it. I love that. That's the problem. Like, not accurate.
Do you think
and I'm like, Eric.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't waste
things.
the energy.
Yeah.
Do you think like when they went to John Candy, they're like, okay, so the main role, like, we're gonna let you, you're gonna play it straight and you get to act, and do something. Mm-hmm. But then you also have to wear a dress and be a mute
and play
sister,
a girl, and
go. Yeah, it's clearly just you with not a very good wig and a dress.
Everybody said yes to it.
If that was like a fight that they had, where they wanted John Candy's character to be bonkers. He's like, no, I really want to stretch. I want to do this. They're like, okay, so compromise.
Yeah.
You can be the straight man, but you're gonna have to play another part in this movie. We'll wait. We'll figure it out. You know what? There won't be a lot of lines. Nothing to memorize. It'll be a character study. You'll love it. You'll love it. It'll be fine.
Maybe it was a salary. Yeah. Like, maybe it was a salary thing. They were like, oh, you want that number? Okay, well, you're gonna have to dress and drag.
Yeah, and play two people.
I
think that was my one laugh out loud moment was when the condiment train was going around and him as the woman is trying to grab the condiments but he can't because it's going too fast. And he's like, Like that was probably the only part where I was like, yeah. But then like the rest of the movie's just like,
it's hard.
yeah, it's a rough one.
And part of me, at one point, I was like, did Aykroyd hate Chevy Chase and want his career to die?
Right.
This
Yeah.
was like he went through this thing where he's like, I will destroy my career just to make sure that Chevy Chase's career is destroyed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because isn't it's historically correct that like Chevy Chase and Bill Murray did not line up.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So it'd be funny if Dan Aykroyd on Ghostbusters was like, Bill Murray's my bro. So then, he's like, I'll get you in a movie, Chevy. Don't worry.
Right. He's kind of the one guy that didn't kind of was in all of it, but just sort of was. I don't think he wasn't he didn't play as nice with others as the rest of the guys did. Martin Short, Steve Martin, those guys. So yeah, definitely some of that. And Community, I don't think the folks on Community were like huge fans of the fella, but.
Well, I think there's because I was curious about that. I watched some clips on Community where Chevy, for being as crazy as a comedic actor as the stuff you've seen him in, I guess on set he was just like, why are we going so low? Like, why are we making the low jokes? Why are we going this lowbrow stuff? It could be so much smarter. You're so much, and everyone's like, who the hell I'm sorry, are you Chevy Chase or somebody else? Like, what are you? Is this? Did John Malkovich just walk in the room? What happened? Like,
well, no, he clearly has no comedy standards. Let's not get.
But he would just like, I guess Chevy was just he was just fighting all the comedy the whole time. And then I guess when they would
on a comedy show,
if you watch some of the outtake stuff, you can even see it in the cast when they would get a little raunchy with like their blooper stuff, and then Chevy would do something, they'd all roll their eyes like, ooh, that's even racist for bloopers. Like,
It's a bit much.
Ooh, about that. Like, or he wouldn't get that they were joking and he'd still be serious. And they're like, a cut, please. Cut before he cuts me.
I had a moment this week where I was like real mad at Space Force again. And I wanted to bring it up, but I forget what it was. I think I was just mad about it. What was it? I don't even remember. I saw Steve Carell on something. Oh, I watched a documentary. I think it's on Hulu about the Dana Carvey show. And but Steve Carell and Stephen Colbert were original cast members. Were only cast members were on the show. Not only, but they only did like one season. But Louis C.K. and among Robert Smigel, like all these guys were writers on it.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's an insane lineup. But they were like kind of young and kind of just wanted to be real brazen and stuff. But watching Steve Carell like be hilarious in his youth. Now, like the start of his career made me so much madder at Space Force because it was like you should just know better. You should know how to write. You should know how to make a show at this point in time. You should know the structure of comedy and how it works and why this show is so bad. So I was grumpy while I was mowing the lawn about Space Force for no reason.
Well, because it just grabbed this moment in time where you're like, go for it.
Get it, yeah.
And it just pooped its pants.
Because it is ridiculous watching. There's a whole bunch of military commercials right now, that flood through, and it's like join the Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Space Force, and you're just kind of like, meh. I know that it's going to be a real thing, and we need one. But every time they say it, you go, well, yeah. I mean, to a certain degree. I mean, we've had a Space Force since like the 70s, technically, just a wing of the Air Force, yeah. So it still kind of is.
One of the things they do is monitor every loose nut and bolt shooting around our planet.
Yeah,
do you remember that NORAD tour as well? Didn't you go with me?
Oh,
I thought.
It sounded like something fun. I didn't do those things.
No, I thought we went.
You went to Ireland with Babs. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Like Junior Academy of Science, we went through NORAD, and they showed us like the fake monitoring room. Where it was definitely like two actors sitting in front of like 70-year-old computers, like turning knobs, going, they're monitoring. Like, I understand it's all classified. You can't actually show us what's happening.
Like sound making piano thing.
Or it was like smoke and like,
you could almost see the guy they're like, there's like an alarm that trips when a tour is about to come through to this like thing, because you could almost see him like throw away a cigarette real quick and like sit down like.
That's funny.
Yep, I'm tracking satellites.
Pretty sure I see one. Yep, it's a satellite.
No questions, please. I gotta, I got some in the microwave. Get out of here.
Is that guy saying boop?
Definitely like this weird scripted. Like, okay, I get it. You're not gonna show us the classified blah blah.
Yeah.
So it was exactly like Independence Day.
Yeah. It was like 4 games. Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
I bet Roland Emmerich took that same tour and went, "Oh, I'm getting really good info. I'm gonna put this in my
Monitoring nuts and bolts. Good.
This makes sense."
Yeah.
He's just gone on tours and bought into the BS.
Yeah.
Right? The stage show.
Yeah.
So what are we doing next week?
I had an idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna float it.
Uh-oh.
I think I've talked about this before. When I was in college, I took a film appreciation class, and for my final paper, I wrote on James Cameron's The Abyss.
Wow.
And I failed that paper. Because...
What was your angle? Yeah.
So
10 out of 10.
So I did not take... I think I talked about this. The stereotypical angle you take with The Abyss is how love conquers all. Because it's the ring saves his life. When the doors are closing... he dives for the ring. He uses his wife died. He brings her back from the dead. When he goes down and sees the aliens, they show his like love letter to her when he thinks. So it's like love conquers all type of thing. Right. My angle on it was that the director's cut shows that the Marine was right, because in the director's cut, those aliens, as cute and fluffy as they are, were trying to tsunami the Earth.
Right.
So the military was in the right of saying, you might be cute, cuddly, and neat, but we know you're responsible for these tsunamis that are like wiping out cities. We know you are the cause of this. So it's essentially like Independence Day. Like, we know you're here to kill us. But that got cut from that's the director's cut, has all that info. So that was my paper. And I actually think I threw it away. But the note on there was, I don't know why you didn't do Love Conquers All.
I love it. Education at its finest.
Oh man, it was so bad because in that class, and I appreciated the class, but like people did the Deer Hunter, and you can go look. Oh god, you could go look up like tomes of people analyzing the Deer Hunter. Somebody did Jaws, where you take the scene of this family having dinner and the guys having dinner on the boat and how they're almost identical. So they did these like overly cliched analysis of stuff, and I looked at it and said, no. And the teacher was like, well, you wanted it today? No.
Wow, brutal.
I'll play your game.
Yeah. So I would offer The Abyss. That doesn't have to be next week, but at some point I would actually like to have
I'm down for it.
Discussion on
I had an idea too to throw in the hopper for let's do at some point.
Yeah.
Do Ex Machina.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Might provoke some conversation.
Yeah.
A
little Oscar Isaac for you. Yeah. So why don't we you want to do Ex Machina next week, since we just did a 90s era movie, and then do The Abyss next, and then do The Abyss after that?
Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
So we'll bounce modern and then go back to The Abyss. Cool.
Yeah, because I'm not sure. I think I got a notification that I think theaters are supposed to be opening in 2 weeks.
Oh wow. Cool.
So if that gets closer, we can do kind of like a true preview to theaters being open again, and talk about what we missed, what's been delayed. We could look up info on that kind of stuff. But again, that's just Fandango sending me emails about like, hey, are you ready? Like, I was ready 2 months ago.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Something we could do. I mean, obviously, if everyone is okay, if everyone's comfortable with it, we could all go to the theater and just report back on what it's like now.
Yeah, the new feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
We'll have to pick something to watch for sure. I mean, I would love to go. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Probably.
If it happens. Yeah. Well, and two, it's more. Some theaters will open, but just where.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Not everyone. Fort Morgan's not ready to reopen.
Probably. I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to do theaters here. Everyone's
it's way less worrisome
will
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure the second
LA
they get
is
the
still-
ability, they'll do it.
Might be the only one.
Yeah. What's that?
I might be
In
the only
LA,
one.
Yeah.
in LA, it's still very much like we're one step away from total lockdown again. So
Yeah. No, here if most of this part of the world had their way, there would be no masks,
Everything.
no nothing. Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah, no, I like Ex Machina. It's a good one. I think Biss is a good one. I think
yeah,
probably like this weekend that I did.
Goonies, I wouldn't, since
yeah, Goonies would be a
someone
good
needs
one
to
too.
watch it.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it. I don't have fresh eyes at all on it. So
Yeah, we can do Goonies.
I just keep waiting for you guys to make me watch The Lord of the Rings.
It'll happen.
I keep waiting for that
Once
to
we
happen.
burn
It's not
through
a-
it.
we're gonna
know.
watch the Desolation of Smaug.
Schmear.
I actually won't do The Hobbit, so yeah, not gonna happen. I got right into the part where they were tossing cups around singing a song, and I shut it off. It's like, nope, not doing this. And
I'm not doing
your
the
freaking
48 frames per
70,
second
yeah, freaking
Hobbit crap.
What the hell was I
ridiculousness.
watching that made me think of The Hobbit? People it was Mother.
Oh yeah,
When everyone just storms into the house, I was like, "This is
this is The Hobbit, but good." Yeah, totally.
yeah." I forgot about that.
It's like sometimes literature just doesn't jive with modern culture, and that's okay. It's just like watching it going, oh, this is terrible. But I haven't watched Lord of the Rings since probably in 10 years, so I don't know. Who knows if it holds up? Neeko says it does.
No, wow, I'm biased.
No, well, that's okay. Bias is okay.
It's also like I have the 4-hour deluxe editions, so
Dang.
Are
Yeah.
you in the credits in those editions? Don't they put
No.
fans in the
The
credits?
No,
fan club, yeah.
I missed
Fan club on the
the
credits.
fan club window on that.
Yeah.
Um,
That's funny.
Do you have Lord of the Rings Funkos?
oh yeah,
I knew that was going to be your answer. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How many Sean Beans do you have? How many Boromirs?
0. I have no
I've got
Boromirs.
Dying Boromir. Do you have a Sean Bean Game of Thrones?
I do not.
Oh.
I don't have. Oh no, that's not true.
It wouldn't have a head.
I
Yeah,
do.
but
I
that's
do
one of
have
six.
some. I do have some Game of Thrones ones, but it's. I have the Ice King when he gets stabbed and it's like shattered
Mm-hmm.
at the end,
Oh.
and then I have Arya Stark with with her long spear thing.
With
I
Splinter?
was gonna buy the
With
the,
Sliver?
No
the-
Snow Patrol.
Snow Patrol.
no
Paw
Snow
Patrol.
Patrol.
Jon Snow. I
Jon
forgot his
Snow
name
Patrol.
for a second.
I think Game
Jon
of
Snow
Thrones-
and the Wildlings.
I think that's it for Game of Thrones. I do have a bunch of Lord of the Ring ones. Like I've got the original Fellowship as far as Hobbits.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get the but I do have like a Legolas, and I have like 5 Frodos. Just because they have the one where he's wearing the ring and he's invisible
Oh,
as
yeah.
a variant, and then I've got with Sting where it's lit up.
Wow.
And
Nice.
then I have just where he's standing around. But then there's also larger ones. Like I have the Balrog.
Wow.
How big is
Nice.
that?
Oh, you want to see it?
Sure. Show me
Yeah.
your
I mean,
Balrog.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna
It
have.
always works.
I'm gonna try to have all the Martys now.
Yeah, you just got to get all the
Marty
Martys.
All the docs.
I could get 2
Ser-
Doc. Holidays.
Seriously, I think
Yeah.
I have a feeling Nick just totally turned me onto a thing now.
Yeah, I think it's dangerous.
Something else to spend.
We got to
money
get
on.
you a background now so you can put yours up somewhere, like here.
Well, I have a background here. But I keep rearranging my little alcove here, and it works well. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I should.
Alcove. Your alcove. But yeah, I
In
mean,
my alcove.
even just right behind you, like you just put something on a stand up and you're good
Yeah.
to go because it's pretty tight
Okay.
in here. I'm gonna get a light
Just
for this.
get that lattice work thing. I keep seeing ads for where it's like the ivy on the thing.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
get one of those.
Does this light? Is this light I got? Is that helping? I
Yeah,
feel
you
like
look
it
great.
is.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
good.
Is that
You
the
guys all
Wilson
make
Batman?
me look like
That's-
I'm a vampire because I look so pale.
Oh, you look
You
great.
guys all look lovely and colorful.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
So this was just the first one I could grab.
Is that the
You're
Pattinson
hiding
Batman?
behind it.
He was my favorite character from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it was just the first one that was handy, and then
Which variant of Frodo is that? Oh wow.
There's the
What the
Balrog.
hell is that?
It's a Balrog, bro.
Oh, Ira. What was it?
It's perfect.
Yeah, the
This is
Balrog.
It's a Balrog, bro.
All right, we're doing
So
Lord of the
it's
Rings
not
for next
often
week.
where-
It's official.
My friends exceed my nerdiness where I don't know
Yeah.
what's happening.
Yeah, it's like a creature of the deep that guards the great unknown or something like that.
Yeah, so
Oh.
that the Gandalf "You shall not pass" is tied.
That's
Is that
who's
what
fighting that.
coronavirus looks like?
Yeah,
that thing?
yeah. That's a microscopic view of the coronavirus.
So yeah,
If anything, it would
That
be
joke was
diarrhea
amazing, I'm
probably.
sorry.
But yeah, it's good stuff.
What?
I'm liking the look back here now with my little Funko. Thanks, Neeko.
yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you very
Solid
much.
gift,
Yeah,
man.
no. Seriously, dude, like this totally made my day.
Yeah,
Like
I'm glad. I'm
amazing.
glad.
I've been like I had such a hard time not like getting the hair dryer out and opening this box and then putting all back in for this, which I swear I didn't do, that I thought about it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, super cool. And I love Eric's looks just like him, so it's like a little
Yeah.
mini you in the background.
No, it's weird. I'm just somehow, without even trying, turned into. Except I don't cough. Nah, I do cough a lot. Yeah, Matt, you've had to edit me in the past.
Oh, yeah, I've had to edit some of the gurgles
Boys
here and there.
talking and
I don't even bother anymore. Yeah, now it's just the smoking hot gurgle nerds.
smoking hot gurgler.
Gurgle nerds.
We just leave it alone. I like the natural.
Last thing I'll say is, well, a couple things. I have to finish the Northeastern play that I had started back in the fall. They're gonna like film it.
Oh, nice.
It's gonna essentially be something for the actors since they kind of learned everything, and we were 3 weeks out when coronavirus hit hard and everything shut down.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, okay, that's a thing that I got paid for already. So I kind of should finish.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Wrap that
But
up.
that's this full thing. But that news came right after I signed on to recreate a scene from Castaway, and I was given the airplane crash,
Oh, wow.
like 5 minutes. Not the whole crash, the airplane leading up to the very beginning of the crash.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And I went,
Oh, wow.
I'll do it with what is Tom Hanks, if not the human version of Kermit the Frog,
Oh, wow.
essentially.
Oh,
So
What's it going to be riding in? An airplane or?
I'm going to build like a miniature airplane
Yeah.
set
Nice.
for them.
That'd be amazing. Is there any character in the Muppets that flies an airplane? Like Fonzie
Well,
or
I was
anything like
trying
that?
to think. I was like, do I make it the band? And I make it like, do I make it the van, the tour van? He's in. I was like, I'll just make an airplane. So I'm going to do, which I do have to make. The one Muppet I have to make, Sam the Bald Eagle's going to be, there's
Nice.
like one pilot that's, talking over the, so I was like, that's Sam the Bald Eagle. I'm going to have Gonzo be another one, just because I'm going to have Camilla, his chicken, fly in when there's chaos. So instead of the one pilot, he's like bloody and freaking out. Oh, that's Fozzie is going to be the one that he interacts with, if you remember the movie at all.
Yeah.
Because he makes this like joke where Tom Hanks is like, "Oh, where are we?" He wakes up from turbulence, and the pilot's like somewhere over the Pacific Ocean. And he's like, "Oh, you pilots, you're so funny." And I'm like, oh, that's a Fozzie joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Somewhere over the Pacific Ocean. So I'm like, yeah, if I just make it, if it's
gonna
going
be great.
into a plane crash, it'll be funny.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's gonna be
so I've
great.
got them all. I've got Beaker's going to be the other one. It's going to be hilarious. Yeah, I've got a Fozzie. So I have to turn them all into pilots.
Yeah.
Make a little sweater for Kirby.
Wow. Cannot wait to see
It's gonna
this.
be great. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty stoked, actually.
So anyways, that was like this big thing that I'm going to go crazy over making. And then Northeastern's like, hey, we're going to finish that thing. So my next 2 months are insane.
Yeah. Work. Yay! That's
All
gonna
right,
be great.
well, I mean-
Amazing. All
So
right.
when I stepped away, was that the discussion of what we're talking about?
Oh, we'll do
or
Ex
what
Machina
it's-
next week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work perfectly.
This-
Beautiful. So everybody listening who made it through 2.5 hours. No, it wasn't 2.5. 2 point whatever. Watch Ex Machina. You're gonna love it, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about it next week
Yeah.
on the Smoking Hot Nerds.
Thanks for hanging in there.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. It's good to see you all. Thanks for checking in live on Facebook and YouTube. And check in. Bless you. Come see us on Apple, Spotify, Instagram.